concussion. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one, motherfucker, get my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, right guys, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, I'm please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
I didn't like last night, Cody, that I realized while watching the Oscars how much my viewing habits have changed, where Conan O'Brien to me is one of my idols. I can't explain how much I admire the way that he's reinvented himself so that he can do in his 60s an award show that would be self-aware. Like comedy self-aware, because he really is a comedy giant. So I just want to watch him. But I don't have 3.5 hours of that in me. And Adnan and David eat it up. They were up late into the night eating up every morsel of information on the Oscars. And I realized while watching it, I don't even have the stamina for what has become an old person's show.
Why wouldn't I love it then, if it's an old person's show?
I would think that you would love it. You didn't love it?
I didn't see a single one of the films. You know, it's a weird thing about me. And I must get this 10 times a week. They're like, you were featured in a major motion picture, Absence of Malice. How can you not be?
You don't get that 10 times a week.
How can you not be a movie fan?
You do not
Well,
get
let's
that.
hear them out. Yeah.
There is no way you get 10 times a week. There's just no way.
I'm sure there's some weeks where it's like 8 times.
Well, yeah, I am.
But then there's the 12 weeks, so then it averages to 10.
Okay, I am exaggerating a little bit.
You're saying you get approached daily on your star turn being in a newsroom in Absence of Malice 50 years ago.
Not what he said. You're putting words in his mouth. Yeah, sometimes there's a day that he could be approached like 9 times in a single day.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to know, what was Paul Newman like? How was Sidney Pollack to work with?
Ooh, I've always wondered.
Yeah, and he was great. I tried to stay away from him. I'm a young actor at that time. I'm in my late 20s, I think. But it was a great experience. But, all this time later, the movies have left me behind. I just don't feel involved. I don't go to theaters. I don't like the theater experience. I've been to one film in the last 7 years.
You heard what they were just saying on Status of the Industry, where the theater experience pays for everything. Like if you care about art instead of commerce, and I know both of those are inextricably linked, what's happening in Hollywood right now will kill the movies unless the theaters keep it alive.
Right, and what the Oscars need to do is recognize that and resuscitate the whole theater experience by making theatrical releases their own category. Like, I think movies that come out on Netflix or any other streaming service should be in a different category than movies you can only see in a theater. And that would prop up the theater releases as something special.
None of this would get you out to the theaters, though.
That's right.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. To get to the theaters, make a movie worth going to the theater.
Right. Like, I'm going to watch it on TV.
Right.
Like, my wife, I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. So my wife just told me that film will be available in my home viewing audience soon, and I'll watch it.
It's just curious to offer up solutions to save an industry when you yourself say that won't be enough to actually get you to participate in the change that you seek.
Look, this is why he's the Hall of Fame columnist that he is. He's built an entire journalism career atop that particular fraudulence.
Are you a Hall of Fame writer?
I am not.
Okay.
No, the only Hall of Fame I'm in is the Orange Bowl Media Hall of Fame.
Are you saying that he has a baseball Hall of Fame vote?
Okay, I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't think I needed to make this clarification in the local hour. A Miami Herald legend, Greg Cote is for all time in the local hour a Miami Herald Hall of Famer.
Well, no, but they don't actually have. Do they have one?
No.
All right, so he is not. All Hall of Fame?
Do we have a Hall of Fame?
I'm not. Look, Greg Cote is absolutely a 20-year anniversary Le Batard Show with Stugotz Hall of Famer. That's not up for dispute.
That's not a Hall of Fame either. We don't have a Hall of Fame.
Is there a Greg Cote Show Hall of Fame? He should make one.
If there's a Theater of Mine Hall of Fame, then I guess.
I tell you, Billy, man, he's on the mark.
Okay. Wasn't your fantasy football league going to start a Hall of Fame?
My fantasy, the regular PFPI, not PFPI fantasy, is toying around with the idea of a Hall of Fame.
Really?
As it is, by the way, speaking of movies, the Dad's Dynamics Cup PFPI Championship Trophy weighs almost twice what an Academy Awards Oscar weighs.
Fascinating.
Wow.
Like 8 pounds to roughly 14 pounds. So I correlate that with, what's got the heft. What do you want to hold?
Some would say it's more prestigious, right? Because less people have won a Dad's Dynamic Cup than have won Academy Awards.
That's right. No question about that. But to Mike's point, yes, I'm a proposer. I am proposing a solution to help resuscitate movie theaters, but I'm an idea man. I'm not going to participate in saving the theater, but I'm going to suggest how it might be done.
Billy, it's crowded in here today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need a little better from you than that's why they call me Mark. Okay? Just a little.
I'm on the mark.
Just a little.
You can refer to me as Mark
but
today.
But no one calls you Mark.
Some do.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to
They
need.
have.
Listen to me. It's crowded in here today, and I need you to be better.
Wow.
I'm trying. I'm just coming there. Can I ask you a question?
Do you like the Oscars? Because I've got a room here that I'm dealing with today where I think that Jessica's the only one who actually cares about the art of what we're talking about. I don't think any of you actually care about the Oscars at all.
Well, the good thing about the Oscars, right, is that they basically tell you beforehand, this is what we're going to talk about today, these movies, right? I didn't see any of those movies, so I don't need to watch the Oscars today because what do I care who wins an award amongst movies I didn't watch this year?
Am I failing that miserably to project that I like movies?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
It's a
feel
little
like-
too much, though,
I
Mike.
feel like
Talk
if
about
you-
Nosferatu
It's a little
more.
too
I feel
much,
like if
yeah.
you scan the room,
Such a good love story for an eternal love story.
I've lost one. I think you missed the point. Yeah. I like movies. I watch the Oscars. Watch the whole thing. Also, how do you not have a stamina for a show that's aging older? Like you said that.
Yeah, I'm confused about that too. Because you said that you feel like you're aging out of it because it's a show for old people. But wouldn't you be aging into it?
Right. Well, what I was watching, I said that off air, not on air. What I was watching.
But your takes are soaked
But you sort
in
of
this
said
bias.
it like 10 minutes ago too when we started the show.
What I was watching last night, okay, because of my changed viewing habits I'd rather have, and this happened to me accidentally, I didn't expect it. Don't give me a 3.5-hour movie. Give me 8 1-hour shows, and I might binge right through it. I might go 8 hours instead of 3.5, but don't tell me beforehand that something's 3.5 hours because I don't have the attention span for this anymore. But as I'm watching it with all the pageantry and all the dancing, I'm like, I can see how this would appeal to a certain demo over 45 that has a romantic relationship with the movies and what the movies mean and what an award show about the movies mean. And I'm telling you that even with all of that as backstory, I'm tuning in because I want to see Conan, and not even he kept me there.
You said that he was one of your heroes. What's the appropriate age gap to have a hero?
Think
Because
they have to
you
be
guys are
older?
similar in age. He's a little older than you, right?
Can
But,
you have a younger hero?
Yeah.
I
Can you
think
have
so.
a hero that's younger than you?
Cool. I show speed. You're my hero.
He is 61 and I am 56, but I'm just saying that I'm watching through his entire history and evolution, how he fought through the late night wars and was more authentic than any of them, more self-aware about being consistently funny and amusing about himself and being likable enough that at 61 he hosts the Oscars, and I'm guessing he boosts their numbers merely by putting his particular imprint on it because he reaches across 30 years.
Well, I thought he was really funny and that his whole premise of I'm not going to waste your time, it worked. He didn't waste our time, and it didn't run late because he was just bullshit in the middle of the show. It ran late because they did a random 10-minute ode to James Bond that probably
Not random.
Yeah, not
Wait,
good.
what did I
probably
miss?
didn't need that.
Dude,
random.
this whole 007 thing is weird. It's almost as if everyone just kind of put to bed the notion that 007 movies are going to be interesting anymore because the ownership officially changed hands, and now it's in the hands of Amazon. So, everyone's saying goodbye to 007, not because it's going anywhere, but because there's just going to be more of a saturated 007 market now because they're going to churn these out. It was weird.
I honestly assumed it was like SpawnCon. It was like, hey, remember James Bond? You're going to watch it now on Amazon.
Well, I wonder, as we cheapen the movies, because 007 and that entire franchise, you can make the argument whether you want to go Mission Impossible, Bourne, or any of the others, John Wick, it can be argued greatest action franchise there's ever been in the history of the movies. When Daniel Craig is asked, When he's asked 6 or 5 Bonds in, what do you care? What do you think about what they're going to do with the character next? He says, I don't care, because they're going to cheapen the bleep out of this.
You know what? Shut up. You died. You ruined the whole thing. You
Daniel Craig said
died.
that? Yeah.
James Bond's not supposed to die. Could do without you telling me about the rest of the franchise when your film is part of the problem.
Worst James Bond ever, by the way. If we're going to be honest. You know why?
That's a bad
Why?
take.
Because he died.
He died.
None of the others died.
That's not his fault.
It
is his fault.
It's not his
All
fault.
of the others
Did
figured
you
out a
watch
way
the
to
movie?
not die.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I watched the movie.
He
Okay.
died, and
Yeah.
he didn't come back.
Exactly.
When Ethan Hunt dies, he at least comes
Thank
back.
you.
He's died twice.
Guy gets it.
Disavowed.
And it looks like he's going to die a third time from the looks of this trailer.
But we don't know.
No, definitely gets disavowed, though.
How many James Bonds have there been? Can anybody name them all? Because I stopped watching after Sean Connery.
No.
I think all the living James Bond should get the vote
come
on who the next James Bond
it's
is.
Dalton, it's Pierce Brosnan, it's Daniel Craig. There haven't been that many.
Yeah, there have been too many.
Okay, but that's now they're going to be
And none
more.
of them have died except one. You
Well-
know who died multiple times and come back? Jason Bourne. Dude, that guy's drowned like 7 times and still keeps coming back somehow. He's not a quitter. He says, you know what? I'm not giving up on you guys, the fans. Daniel Craig, quitter, gave up on us. Decided, you know what? I'm going to be selfless and I'm going to sacrifice myself and I'm going to die. Blah, 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 blah. Get out of here.
Loser.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys are not, again, respecting yet another giant franchise. This happens so much around here where things that have earned 50, 60 years of prestige, you guys yawn and spit in the face of because we're better than 007. You tell me he's died. How many times has Bourne died? You said that Tom Cruise has died twice.
Ethan Hunt has. Tom Cruise can never actually
okay.
die.
Ever heard of No Time to Die, James Bond? That's what all of them had, except him, apparently. He had plenty of time to die.
So there have been 25 official 007 films. There's 2 that are in the unofficial category, but they're satire. So 25 official 007 films.
You're not okay with the Bond franchise resuming with the plot twist? Oh, he wasn't actually dead in the last one. Here's the plot twist.
I don't know how they're going to dig themselves out of the mess that the last one put us in. I assume they're just going to be like, hey, forget about that crappy ending. We're starting anew, which everyone's fine with. I'm not mourning the passing of 007. I think that they made terrible creative decisions. I'm happy to welcome our new tech overlords.
Part of the reason why the theater is dying is that, and I'm pontificating as someone who doesn't go to movies. I get the irony of that. But movies reinvent themselves too much. Like the franchise is killing the theater. Batman films, Marvel.
Statistically, not the case. The
Yeah.
franchises are keeping them afloat.
No, we don't like that.
Greg,
don't like
I
that.
can't think of a subject that you have less expertise on. That you're
The
going.
last movie you went to was Swing Vote.
No.
And there's only one. In fairness to Greg, there was no swing vote 2.
Right. I saw Rocket Man in the theater.
There you
during
go.
the pandemic.
Marlon Williams.
Pre-pandemic.
Look, let's do this. Do me a favor. Can I just send Greg Cote to another room and we'll give him 2 minutes? Floor is yours. Say whatever you want about the movies. But for now, can we allow that you are the least qualified person on earth to have a strong gas bag opinion on anything movie related?
It's the opposite. He's the most qualified because he's the one not going to the theater, so he can tell you exactly why he's not going.
Mark's absolutely right.
This is a fresh
you.
perspective. Okay? This is a fresh.
Wow.
I'm an independent thinker.
That has to be a fine.
I'm not beholden to the movies.
It is a fine. I will pay a $5 fine, a new fine for snorting. Greg, go into the other room. I will get 2 minutes of your talk in a second, please. Okay, I want to get all of your Oscar opinions, and I want to have the floor is yours for you. Go as long as you can, and we'll just help you from in here. But in the interim, I do want to get Jessica's opinions as someone who cares. And actually watched all of the movies. So you guys give me no expertise for 20 minutes, haven't watched the movies, have a ton of opinion.
What?
Did you watch I'm Still Here?
I did not watch
Well,
I'm Still Here.
there you go.
You watched all of them. I did watch about 25% of the Brutalist before I realized this is not going to win, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do this with my life. But I did watch Nora. I did watch Dune 2. I think I watched more than half of the nominated films. I even watched Sing Sing because I thought it was going to get nominated, and it wasn't, and it should have been.
That was a really good movie. Yeah, I think that there were a lot of movies worth seeing in the theater this year, Billy, but there's a lot of stuff going on, so sometimes you just don't have the time to go, and that's fine. And now you can stream Anora tomorrow if you feel like watching it because you found it at won Best Picture. So I don't know, it was a good night. It was a fun award show. I think the middle part dragged, but that's when I put on my jammies and brush my teeth and wash my face and get ready for bed. So I was content having a good 40-minute stretch where I could just walk away for a little bit.
I ceased being happy for Adrien Brody about 4 minutes into his speech because it's a cool story. 20 years in between wins, his career was thought dead, comes back, is a 2-time Oscar winner. That's an elite class. But then he started rubbing it in everybody's face, like, hey, I've actually been here before. And he's like, real quick, I know how to do this real quick. And then he goes on the most inefficient diatribe that no one actually remembers or anything like that. It wasn't super poignant. He was trying to be, but he kind of missed the mark. We were all just kind of upset because they wrapped up the previous person, and that wasn't very fair.
Yeah, I thought that the big winner were the last night was people like Mike who were like, I'm going to watch The Brutalist if it wins Best Picture, and then it didn't. And now 3.5 hours of your life, you get back. So have fun. Enjoy it.
I think I'm going to watch Heretic again.
Brody put everyone off and delayed the entire ceremony. When we were, this is what I'm telling you about my viewing habits. When I'm noticing they're changing, I'm inside of a portal. I think you guys can understand this. You're watching a show that has always mattered in America and is also viewed as the height of liberal elitism that separates this country between everything that's burning in California and how the rest of the country views liberal Hollywood. And Adrien Brody gets up there.
Now? I mean, they've always viewed it this way.
Yes, no, I know. But what I'm saying is that over the pandemic, we all realized when they tried to keep this annual, very important American symbol of a show up in the air, oh, this is silly to do this now. All of this is stupid. The industry's shut down. They're fighting over money, and AI is going to take over soon. This is the last vestiges of America being able to celebrate itself and what it used to be on television. This show as here's Hollywood, but it's also being torn asunder by tech people and being torn asunder by streaming, and we got to keep the theaters alive, and the writers are fighting over AI spaces. Like the commerce of all of this, it threatens the beauty of the art, and then Adrien Brody gets up in the middle of it and gas bags, and people remember why they hate self-important actors.
No, they don't hate it. They love it. They love it. It's a celebration of America's celebrating its obsession with celebrity. Like, it's an award show. All of it is silly. All of it is dumb. All of it is them patting themselves on the back. And I think most people are kind of wise to that and admit that this is a guilty pleasure of theirs. One thing that I don't like that they've done for like a decade now, because I guess one of the award show hosts was too mean when it came to respecting the categories, is they do this whole thing where they have either former winners or presenters come out and they list the nominees, but when it's an acting category, they're like, Stanley, your bravery as you played a cardinal, it knocked me to my knees. Your courage under such like they're
He
acting.
should have been nominated, by the way. Stanley Tucci snubbed.
But they always do that.
Ray Fiennes snubbed, should have won.
And they always end it with
Coleman
like,
Domingo also should have won.
Thank
They
you.
both should have won.
Thank you. Bravo. And then they just move on to the next one. I'm like, where's the joke? This is all a great
It's very
setup.
earnest, yes. But I think this year they had to change it for the Best Actress category because Emma Stone came out and then they were like, these are the nominees for Best Actress because the actress who played the main character in Amelia Perez was embroiled in scandal and controversy throughout this entire award season. Also, another big winner last night, all of the haters of Amelia Perez because they won for Best Song and I think a couple other ones, but like none of the big awards. And so if you hated that movie, which most people did, whew, what a relief.
If I may, this award show, for me, will always be remembered for its open. I think, arguably, the Wicked number at the start was the greatest performance I had ever seen at an award show ever, finally supplanting Ricky Martin's bursting onto the scene with a cup of life.
That was amazing, and that was the previous. Tony remembers. Tony,
I was a
Tony,
little boy, but I do remember
Tony,
that.
Latin people represent right there. He hit that ceremony with so much Latin that our people were proud. And thank you, Ricky, for breaking through to the other side.
No one had seen hips move like that before in their entire life. But Cynthia, when she got that note, when she delivered the note, I mean, it's a where were you type of moment.
This is what I need to say to you. You need to take it back because nothing will top Ricky Martin and what he did for our people.
Did you watch
Mike,
the number?
Mike, you need to. Mike,
What about my people?
Mike,
What's going on here?
You need to take it back. Let's go to Greg Cote in the other room, get 2 minutes of unfiltered thought on what is the least qualified man in America to be talking about the Oscars today. Go ahead, Greg.
Least qualified man. I'm the only one among us who's been featured in a major motion picture, Absence of Malice, in '81. Mike's talking about the greatest hips in America. Elvis Presley's hips were barred from appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show in the mid '60s or whenever that was, because those hips were moving. The Oscars need to. It's funny they have a category for editing, because they don't edit themselves. It's funny they have a category for short films. How about a short Oscars? They need the Oscars to be a concise 1 hour award show. Eliminate all the fluff. More wheat, less chaff. There's just too much going on. They eliminated the songs because all 5 of the best song nominees were awful. So granted, we didn't have to hear that, which is great. Otherwise, it would have been a 5-hour show. Talk about a metaphor for the night, The Brutalist. It's brutal watching anything for 3.5 hours, whether it's a film or an award show. Come on, if you want to attract the non-movieaholic, Jessica watched all 10 films that were nominated for Best Picture. God love her. You could put a gun to my head and I wouldn't do that.
Come on.
I'm just saying.
I bet you would.
You could offer me a lot of money to watch The Brutalist for 3.5 hours.
Well, I've already talked you down from gun.
Okay, well,
but if
that
we
kind
put-
of thing.
if-
I mean,
But if we put a gun to your head, you'd watch all 10 of the movies.
I don't think I would. I would play the odds. I would assume that the gun was either jammed or had no bullets in it. I'm going to play those odds.
Those are playing poor odds.
No, they're odds.
Well, now you're saying the gun might not be loaded. It's a different metaphor. Yeah. I mean,
No, this gun is loaded. You better watch Honora.
Bad gambler, man.
Honora. Now, Honora sounds like it's a terrible name for a film, Honora. But and so is the Dylan film has a terrible title.
A Complete Unknown?
Yeah, people need to consult with me on the title of a film or something, because Honora, I didn't hear, is it a woman's name? What is Honora? It sounds like a car. I drive a Toyota Honora. Again, I think cilantro.
well, she doesn't like her name either, so I guess you guys
cilantro.
agree on
What?
that. She goes by Annie.
Yeah, she
Okay,
goes by
that
Annie.
makes sense. But anyway,
Annie's a movie
but
Greg
Annie's
would
been-
watch.
Yeah, Annie's definitely.
Annie's
Yeah.
been done.
Yeah, these people in back of me were chanting my name a couple of minutes ago. It's
On
weird.
Night Live.
They're being silent now while I'm talking, which is great. They're like dummies back there. But I'm trying to fix film. I am. I'm trying to save the theater experience, marshal all of my background in film with Absence of Malice. And
Yeah, you mentioned that. Look,
well, haven't had a
We're up
role
to 4
since.
We're up to 4 times this week where he's been talked about that role.
Thank you.
It's usually 10. We're pacing high this week.
Amin has 2 movies coming out this year, so you are not. I mean, you are not the biggest movie star we have around here because you were in the newsroom of Absence of Malice. You didn't speak a line, correct?
It was a featured scene.
But you didn't speak a line, correct?
Not that I recall, no. I think they left me on the cutting room floor.
No,
I didn't
no,
grovel to
no.
Pollock enough.
No.
He didn't give me a speaking line.
No, listen. You were in Absence of Malice because you happened to be in the newsroom that day. And you were in the background and you didn't say anything. And you've been talking about it for 50 years, but you don't even have a SAG card.
And SAG. Come up with a better name, a better acronym. Who Screen Actors Guild, come up with a different name so that your acronym is not SAG. When people SAG, there's like, have an effervescent acronym, something upbeat, not SAG. That's another thing I'm going to fix. If I'm in charge of the movies, I'm full of ideas. I'm not a movie fan, but that gives me the perspective, the bird's eye perspective. I'm on a ledge. I'm looking down at the movie industry. I'm seeing what's wrong, what needs fixing, and I'm volunteering to do it. And I'm as serious as I can be when I say cut the Oscars to a concise 1 hour. Okay, now Conan O'Brien was great. I watched because of him. I was not let down. He had the great line about The Brutalist. It was so good, I never wanted it to end, and it never did. Great line. Conan O'Brien is fabulous. He's not a hero of mine. I don't want to get carried away.
Greg,
but
okay,
yes.
hold on. Just hold on a second. Billy wants to get in here. Give me a second.
No, I'm fine here. Greg can go. I wanted to come up. I want to volunteer to help Greg fix the Oscars if we can. Greg.
Thank you.
And here's a solution that I have, and maybe we'll capture Dan's attention and the attention of many others. So, what if instead of a 4-hour, 5-hour ceremony, you release the Oscars on Netflix as a 4-part award ceremony with cliffhangers at the end of every episode. You know what I mean?
Are you standing?
You do something along the lines of, and the winner is, and then boom,
Are you
black screen. You're like, I need to see who won that award.
Greg, are you standing up and sagging?
Yes, this is what the SAG Awards does to you, right? I'm sagging. Mm-hmm. The life has gone out of my body. My limbs are limp. I'm sagging. The SAG
This is what
Awards.
Pollock probably saw on the set.
You don't have a SAG award, right? You don't have a SAG card? You don't have a card?
I do not. No, I wouldn't have one unless they changed the name of their company.
All right. I
Not
don't
in
know
the union, huh?
Yeah.
Greg, come back in here. I don't
I'm
know.
pro-union, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah.
Greg,
All of them?
Yeah.
Greg, come back in here. Greg was making fun of me before the show, and it's a good thing to make fun of me for because I'm at a journalistic crossroads today, okay? The Panthers, the champion Panthers, have bestowed upon me an honor? Question mark? Because I am being invited to bang the drum to introduce the mighty champion Panthers before they face off against a dynasty they vanquished in Tampa Bay tonight. And Greg Cote thinks that I shouldn't do it, and he's the only one around here who thinks that I shouldn't do it. Roy and his son and everyone else here is encouraging me.
Roy is a daughter.
Is encouraging me. Greg's son and Roy are encouraging me to do this tonight, and I don't think I should do it journalistically.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't. There are a number of reasons why you shouldn't do it. You know, and it takes a close friend to be honest with someone once in a while. You know, plainly, you're not a hockey fan. You know, you think Roberto Luongo is still the goaltender. You don't know which end of the hockey stick to hold. You don't like hockey. You never watch hockey. You're disqualified from banging the drum slowly.
Disqualified.
Well, none of that had anything to do with journalism.
No.
Okay, but I'm getting to that because the journalism thing is ridiculous. This guy used to be a journalist.
Yeah,
okay?
Correct.
He is right now. If he bangs the drum slowly, and you have to, it's all about the rhythm. Don't do it like Dan Marino. He's never lived it down. Had he made the Super Bowl championship, they would have taken his ring away after he banged that drum. The thing you have to do is you have to realize that you are abdicating all sense of journalism by literally becoming a cheerleader for the Panthers. Okay, you might as well be on their payroll.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think I should do it.
Wow.
I don't either.
Are you holding out in case like you work for the Times in 2 years? Like, what are we talking about here? You're going to go back on the hockey beat at some point?
No, they're not going to hire
Who cares?
you. You talk
Miami
way
Times?
too much about politics for them.
Dan's going to be working for the Hollywood Sun-Tatler in 5 years.
He made him.
Did you like that one, Greg?
Yeah, you like that one?
You like the Tatler?
Hold on.
did.
Hold on.
Replacing Ed Playstead.
He went back to it. All right. Listen. Hold on.
How long has that guy been dead?
Hold on.
I think Rick Riley has written something more recently than you have.
Yeah.
He did. He wrote a book about Trump.
Is he still like wandering around in Italy
I
somewhere?
think he's in Tuscany somewhere. Yeah, Mark.
Mark, I'm going to need you to settle down. I've paid the fine, okay? It's listed as snort. You got me to snort, Mark. I need everyone here, though, to back off and just marvel at the majesty that was Greg Cote pulling off art the last 6 minutes that left him breathless because he's got way too much material. We're not going to have much from him the rest of the show. He just blew a gasket. He just came out firing on two subjects. He's got more. He's got more on me banging the drum. But I just want you guys as his producers today, because he's going to be a runaway freight train all show, to recognize that what just happened there is Greg Cote made himself laugh by mentioning the Hollywood Sun-Tatler, a newspaper that's not existed in this town since about 1980-something.
Not even.
Okay, no, hold on. Okay, please look up for me the history of the Hollywood Sun-Tatler, because he right there was talking to the audience of our podcast that he thinks is in their 80s. In their 80s.
1942 to 1971.
Yeah.
The Hollywood Sun-Tatler existed in this town for a very small time. And Greg Cote then, after that, made the joke even more inside, replacing Ed Playstead, a sports editor of the Hollywood Sun-Tatler. He didn't think anyone heard it, so he made it again. He said it a second time. It's a joke that no one listening to this would understand. No one remembers who the sports editor was of the Hollywood Sun-Tatler in 1971. You simply cannot make that joke here.
Yeah, you can, because if you don't know, you should know, and then you're going to look it up. You're going to Google the name, except it's a weird spelling on his surname, so you're not sure how to Google it. But subscribers used to call it the Tatler. The Tatler used to land in our lawn at 1440. I'd read it before I'd ever heard of Edwin Pope. I used to read Ed Playstead, who once wrote a column criticizing the NBA commissioner who had died like 3 years earlier, and he wrote the column as if the guy was still alive. But where was I?
He wrote the column as if he was still alive. He actually...
A very critical column of the NBA commissioner.
You're saying he wrote a column about somebody who had been dead?
Yeah.
Dead? No.
3 years already.
So wait a minute. Who had been dead for 3 years?
Right.
That can't be true, what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it is. Name the NBA commissioner right before the last couple. Like this would have been going back to the 60s probably.
Greg, you cannot be serious saying that a columnist in 1970 wrote a column about the NBA criticizing a commissioner as if he were alive, a commissioner who had been dead for 3 years.
A few years, yeah. Set rec. No, the Hollywood Sun-Tatler.
Explain to Tony what a set rec is, because you're amusing yourself there with a newspaper term that he does not understand.
It's basically an abbreviation for setting the record straight. When you make a pretty grievous error or something, and you have
fool
to
for not
correct
getting that.
Set rec. But yeah, just before the paper died, they were the ones that famously had the headline "Cody's Slam Paces Drugs," because at the time, as a little leaguer, I was the first baseman for a team sponsored by Adler's Drugs. I wore uniform number 9 because that was my mother, her favorite number, and I still have that headline somewhere in my house, but.
I'm a little dumbfounded because Dan started the day by being like, the Oscars are too old for me, and then we've been doing this.
The Tatler.
Yeah. I don't think you should bang the drum after this segment.
What are your thoughts here on what I should do? Because he's brought to me a conundrum that I have considered here, and he says this is ridiculous for a number of reasons. He's just getting started. If I do this tonight, I will never live it down with Greg Cote. Greg Cote will respect me less if I do this tonight.
I have a possible solution here. And, Greg, I don't know if you're willing to participate in this, just because, like, Dan's obviously in a bind here where he has to go out there and bang the drum potentially, right? And you think, he doesn't know which end of the hockey stick to hold, as you mentioned.
Like super offensive, by the way.
Yeah. And you don't want him to compromise his, journalistic integrity or whatever. So, like, what if you volunteered to do it for Dan so that he wouldn't be in that spot?
No, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
Why?
Well, first of all, they don't want me. They could have announced me, but they didn't.
I believe this is a part of a Hispanic heritage thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was born in Massachusetts. He was born in New York. Who's more Hispanic? But
I am.
It's a fair question.
That's a good. Obviously, you are. I'm kidding, but
Yeah, if he traced Greg's lineage back far enough, Cote, it could be,
Yeah.
You do both have French surnames.
Yeah,
That's true.
French Canadian. Yeah. The Canucks.
Actually, the French Canadians are the Canadians.
Yeah. That's a good point. Canucks are Vancouver, right?
Yeah, that's
way
good.
over on the other side of the country. Beautiful city, though. Been through there on my way to an Alaskan cruise once.
Really? Where'd you stop?
Normally that's not the port, but in that case it was.
Juneau? Anchorage? Where'd you go?
What's that little No, not. I almost said Saskatchewan. It's a similar.
Saskatoon?
No. I'll think of it. I'll get back to you.
Please do.
Yeah, but
Mark, good work, as always.
Saskatoon.
He hits the mark.
Wait,
He
it's a
does.
port in Alaska?
Yeah. It's a little town that is floated only by the.
C-word.
Sitka.
Do you still think Dan is a journalist?
Been to Sitka.
Skagway?
Journalism is amorphous now. I don't know who is and who isn't. Is Stephen A. Smith a journalist? I don't know. You tell me. But I'm just saying, back in the day, and he knows this, he's considered it. You know, back in the day, if you were a journalist by whatever definition, you wouldn't cheerlead either literally or figuratively for the home team. You would try to be honest and fair, but you wouldn't be an overt homer. He calls me a homer. He knows better. I love getting comments like, you're a homer, because I know I'm not, and other people think I'm too critical of a team, and somewhere in the middle is honesty.
I appreciate you making this about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's Skagway, right?
No.
No?
No.
I'll keep looking.
Yeah, thank you. Isn't that a supermarket, Skagway?
Tony, what are your
There's
thoughts?
a cruise terminal
It's Skagway. No.
Tony, what are your
She'll
thoughts
set rec.
here? What are your thoughts on what I should do?
I'm surprised that you're actually going to make the drive out to Sawgrass.
Do you know where it
That's
is?
surprising.
You're going to get there on time, right?
It's not at the Miami Arena anymore.
Don't get there
Dan.
on Cuban time, Dan, because you're going to miss it.
My wife has been asking, we're going where? How far is it?
Take a helicopter? What are you doing?
Yeah, they have a heliport there. Yeah. So your copter will fit. It'll be
Can you
good.
guys find out for me what it would cost to take a helicopter, please? Because I think if I'm going to make it if I'm going to make it a special announcement, the final selling of my journalistic soul, I should take a helicopter.
Well, just to avoid the traffic. You do need clearance, though. Don't think that you can just land a helicopter anywhere that you want.
Should I do this?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty big honor. You would assume that they do this before every game, but they don't. Really? The list of people that have done this is pretty illustrious. The aforementioned Dan Marino, Jack Nicklaus, Udonis Haslem, Raheem Mostert, luminaries of South Florida sport and entertainment.
Didn't Ariana Grande do it?
Brittany Griner. I mean, these are heavy hitters, Dan, and you are no doubt heavy.
Brittany Griner was booed. I'll get booed, right?
What was
Yeah.
Brittany Griner?
No, it
booed?
won't be a boo. It'll be a who.
Ooh.
Might be a Kien tonight. Because it's Hispanic heritage.
Yeah.
That's why they call me Marco.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I was going to say, how do you say
Vamos
Mark in
gatos.
Spanish? I don't even know.
Was it Sitka, Greg?
Marco?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
We'll set rec.
I've been
We'll
to
find it.
I've been to Sitka.
You mentioned that.
Did I?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But since we began this conversation, I did hear that the Le Batard Show is going to have a suite with an open bar. So now I'm in favor of you banging the drum.
The segment has been over for 15
Oh,
seconds.
well, what do I know?
Peter Rosenberg is going to join us here momentarily to talk ostensibly about Oscars, but I also want to talk some basketball with him. And Roy, give me the stat of the day music, please, because I'm just going to put something on the screen here, and I'm going to get Peter Rosenberg's instant reaction as someone who's loved sports for a long time to give me like 30 seconds on the stat I'm going to put in front of him right now.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day.
Stat of the day is presented by Miller Lite.
Thank you for playing the short version of that. I have said that in my lifetime, the best basketball I have ever seen played by a single individual was the last of LeBron James here in Miami in his prime, when he mastered basketball and shot like 58% from the field because he just mastered the entirety of the sport. The stat in front of you right now has his lines from the 2012-2013 MVP with Miami, and it also has his statistics since turning 40 years old. And since turning 40 years old, all the stats, except for, a 0.3 of a point scoring, all of the stats are better now than they were his 2012-2013 MVP season. So, Peter, mastery and the highest form of art, or science has made it so 40-year-olds can be better than they've ever been?
I'll go with a healthy combination of both, but I think it is more mastery for LeBron James. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if LeBron wasn't the nice guy that he is and sort of the regular human being, like if he was a freakish monster, a competitive lunatic, I think people would be a lot more comfortable putting him in the conversation for GOAT. I really think that's his biggest flaw, is that people don't think he's a killer, because you look at the numbers and it's absolutely insane.
The thing I wanted to talk to you about, because this was something I saw over the weekend, it legitimately made me sad about the era that he plays in, because he is articulating at the end of what is a majestic run of greatness through the sports argument culture. He's saying, yeah, you don't want to be the face of the NBA. Why would you want to be the face? Why would you want to be me? No, you don't want to be me. Everybody's just going to shit on you. All the players today are going to shit on you. You don't want to be the social media star face of the NBA, because you're going to all of a sudden go from, you used to get nothing but applause before you did that television show, to now you're something that exists as, you're not great enough and less than human on the internet. So you explain to me, Peter, why LeBron James would be saying out loud at 40, you don't want to be the face of the NBA. Not the way we talk about the NBA today.
It's the exact thing that I just said. It's because he's not that dude. Like, he is not a killer. You know, that was not a Kobe or Jordan thing to say. That was a LeBron James thing to say, which is basically to admit he is a sensitive human being. He gets bothered when, people he respects from the game, former players, have criticisms of the guys who run this league now, or the faces of this league. I think it bothers him. And I think that is exactly what separates him. Kobe would have been a middle fingers up. Of course, I'm the face of this league. And if you have a problem with the league, F you. Or I agree with you. We do need to fix this league. And that's not LeBron's style. So I really do see it as sort of the same thing. I didn't love the response from LeBron, because although I do think LeBron is one of the greatest players who's ever lived, I do think his friendly approach is one of the things that people don't love about this version of the league.
Didn't he also say, I didn't ask for any of this in the same quote?
He did. I think that's what he did. It's like, why would he ask for it? I didn't ask for it. I was just given this. But at the same time, as I'm saying the things that I'll point out as flaws about LeBron James, a lot of the arrows that LeBron takes, Dan, no one knows this any better than you. He takes them because of who he is and the issues he's decided to stand for off the court as well. Just like I said, Michael Jordan was the killer on the floor. Michael also said Republicans buy sneakers. He didn't stand for anything. Whereas LeBron James has been so hated by people on the right that they think he made up racial slurs and put them on his gate. So we can't ignore that part of the criticism with LeBron is that he has stood for things at times that a certain sector of the population doesn't want to hear about.
Before we get to the Oscars, I will tell you, and I don't know if Mike Ryan hides from this, I would not blame him if he did. For the first time in 15 years, Miami is getting punched in the face with the idea that the Knicks are better. Ever since playing the Miami Heat in the playoffs when Jalen Brunson wasn't good enough and clearly not good enough for the Jimmy Butler Heat, what you've seen happen over the last couple of years is the Knicks have surpassed the Heat, so much so that last night when scoring gets hard, what happens to the Heat always happens to the Heat late, and the Knicks run away with the game and have now won 8 of their last 10 against the Miami Heat because they're clearly better than the Miami Heat. Nobody would dispute that. It is a sword that hurts to put down because it's not something that's been so for 15 years.
I don't even have a callus built up for it, because really there was a brief moment in time for about 2 years where the Knicks were reminding the Heat in the playoffs that they were better than them, and then my entire adult life has been charmed with the fact that I've known the Miami Heat are way better than that New York Knicks franchise and more illustrious when it comes to the game's history than that franchise.
I don't like the smile on Rosenberg's face right now. It bothers me.
Well, if he's a Knicks guy, he also knows that they haven't accomplished anything.
No, listen,
the only thing that they've accomplished is letting Miami know that they are now better than them, which is, kudos to them, not often.
No, listen, I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm a Celtics fan who just covers the Knicks every day. I will say I do get pleasure from seeing you guys down bad.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that's so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter whether you're a New York guy or a Boston guy. The smile on your face, it bothers me. It bothers me.
No. I get it, because you guys are one of those franchises. I don't know how much you fully appreciate it, that you guys are like the San Francisco 49ers or the Golden State Warriors or the Yankees. You are perpetually good. You may not win the title every year, but you are always there. And so, yeah, seeing you guys down bad a little bit, especially knowing it's going to last for about 8 seconds before you get one piece injected in that team and Spoelstra has you winning another title, I'm enjoying it a tad.
Anyway, last night the Knicks do that, and yet what I was watching over the weekend from Cleveland and Boston, I see that Boston gets 60 from Tatum and Brown. No Porzingis, no Drew Holiday. They're up 25-3, and Tatum's walking off the court telling the Cavs, F out of here, and then they lose the game because Cleveland's really good. And Cleveland all regular season has been better than the champions.
Cleveland it's so crazy that Cleveland is this good. It's a fun conversation to have. When was there, if they were to win the title, when was there a less sexy championship team than the 2025 Cleveland Cavaliers? Like, on paper, there is nothing to sell about this team. I mean, you could try to sell Donovan Mitchell. I don't know how much you're going to sell to the American people, but they are just that good. Like, that is a well-coached, phenomenal basketball team. And even as a Celtics fan, I'm so curious to see what they bring in the playoffs. And frankly, not thrilled about the idea of a 7-game series with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I feel like most people would tell you last year's Celtics were not that sexy.
Oh, well, guess what? They would be lying because that Celtics team at least has 2
You're a
dynamic
liar.
stars.
Don't tell him what's sexy.
Yeah, I know what sexy is. Excuse me. Look at me.
No, you don't.
I know. I think Tatum's a sexy player. Tatum and Brown are both sexy. Kristaps has a little sex appeal.
Oh, get out of here.
Go 3 deep on Cleveland and talk to me
does.
about sex appeal. Oh, Al Horford.
Al Horford.
Dominicano.
Sexy. See?
Okay, I'll give you Al Horford.
And by the way, you have a beautiful transition to the Oscars from Al Horford right to Zoe Saldana. It's sitting right there for you.
Well, go ahead. Here, you're our Oscars expert here. Greg Cote's got a lot of opinions too, but you're coming in to talk some Oscars with us. What are you doing? What are you backing away from the microphone for?
Well, listen, I don't know how I'm an Oscars expert. I have one particularly strong take about the Oscars because to me, the true theater that happened this weekend was John Cena turning heel in WWE. That to me was more theater than I got from the best picture winner. I listen, we have a lot of things that have us down bad as a nation. A lot of things have us down bad. Friday was a true low point. However, Anora was best picture. Like, it was a nice movie. It was like, where is this going? Okay, I love seeing random things about, like, Russian spots in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. This is cool, very Brooklyn-y, fun movie, strip clubs, blah. It's Best Picture? Did that happen? It happened while I was sleeping. That actually happened, right?
Yeah, I guess it just may indicate that it's a down year for films like critically acclaimed films, your traditional Oscar winners. Last year was such a loaded category that maybe you could pluck 3 of those films that were nominated last year and say they could have very easily won this year.
Well, yeah, because last year at least you have multiple movies. Oppenheimer, whether it's your cup of tea or not, you know it's sort of Oscars ilk. Same with Killers of the Flower Moon, American Fiction, like very sort of Oscar-y movies. And I guess you're right. The category this year, when you see Dune Part 2, you're thinking, well, let's be honest, when you see Part 2 in the Best Picture, short of The Godfather, it's an odd thing to see. But yeah, no part of me thought Anora was winning Best Picture. The performances were great. I just didn't think it was that great a film. Though I'm not exactly sure where you go with that category this year.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Part 2 ever Oscar worthy? Because he brings up a good point.
The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Godfather 2.
Godfather.
Well, he just mentioned something.
The Return of the King won Best Picture.
Too
That's a Part 3.
Okay, I stand corrected then. Fine. Stop shouting at me.
I believe Fallout was the 7th in the series. 6, because then there was Part 7, Part 1.
Okay, I got it.
James Bond 25. Good film.
That was the one.
That's not going to win. James Bond has not ever won any Oscars, I don't believe.
Let's keep it that way.
Okay, thank you. I don't understand what it is that you are contributing.
What's your problem,
I
Greg?
bet you it has for Best Original Song. I bet you it's kind of dominated that category.
I'm with you. There were like a lot of really good movies, but compared to like an Oppenheimer, which was, outstanding acting, great editing, Hall of Fame director and Christopher Nolan, they literally made a bomb and blew it up. Like, there wasn't a film like that in the Best Picture category this year, but there were a lot of really good movies that I saw that I liked a lot. It wasn't going to ever win in that category, but I would have liked to have seen I'm Still Here potentially win that award. I thought Conclave was really good. But yeah, Anora was a solid movie. I think people that watch it would like it, but it doesn't maybe totally hold up to a Best Picture win, but I mean, maybe it was the best one this year.
I had trouble here, and this is a delayed penalty for Greg Cote.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
Okay. You were not useful there, Tony, so please leave the room for 2 minutes.
I got so much to say about the movies.
Okay, but
I'm
please
such
go
a big
say
fan.
it. All right, go say it elsewhere. But I will say that what Peter has brought up here, he's the voice of WWE's newest series, WWE Evolve. It starts March 3rd on Tubi. You were saying, because you're here to promote that, wrestling is having a real moment with the streaming services and being able to make content for a lot of different people that's evolving the sport on two fronts. What's this project you're involved with?
So Evolve starts on Wednesday on Tubi, and basically it's the new show to expose people to new talent. So because SmackDown and Raw are so big, and now the third show, NXT, is a really big show with big stars on it as well, and because, to your point, Dan, the product's doing so well, they started this new show on Tubi to expose new talent to the world, the future stars of the company. And yeah, I'm super stoked, because just as like every other kid who grew up being like, I want to be Gorilla Monsoon and just pretended to do play-by-play, I am very excited about my first play-by-play gig in any capacity that starts on Wednesday. And Dan, I have to tell you, we both know a lot of people who do play-by-play. You know, I was with Michael Kay for nearly a decade. There's something about doing play-by-play that you're calling real action in the ring, but it's also a land of pretend that makes it a fascinating and difficult job that I did not imagine.
It is not only difficult, it's also wondrous to hear you, a grown man, say we all grew up wanting to be Gorilla Monsoon.
I know I did. Dan, we've counted at least 5 Academy Awards that the 007 franchise has won. We correctly picked out that they dominated Best Original Song. That's where at least 3 of these 5 came from. But Goldfinger won Best Sound Effects, and Thunderball won Best Visual Effects. So it is a tried and true Academy Award winner franchise.
They have 19 nominations, 6 wins over their
Have they won any of the big awards?
Well, I mean, the Academy Awards. The
What
big
are you
awards,
talking
yeah.
about?
Best
No,
sound
big-
effects.
They're all
best
big.
Visual
Is
effects.
Thunderball sharks with lasers on their heads?
Is it?
Solid win.
I hope it is. Thunderball at Le Batard Show. Sharks with lasers on their heads.
I don't like how Dan's just casually doing this interview. Peter even cracked the door open a little bit. There was a seismic decision made creatively by the WWE.
Huge.
And it is one of the biggest heel turns in the history of the business, dating back to when Hulk Hogan was revealed to be Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the third man in the NWO. That's how big this is. John Cena, for the first time since he became a champion babyface in the early 2000s, has turned heel during what is supposed to be his final run with the WWE. It is a where were you type of moment. The earth stood still, Peter. What is your take on this?
No, it was sitting there. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It was the magic of why people like us love this business so much. I mean, respectfully, I love competitive sports. But ultimately, in competitive sports, there can just be duds on the biggest stages. And this was a moment where, like, because WWE is what it is, you can creatively come up with the coolest thing ever. And somehow, as much as all of us have always sort of dreamed about the idea of heel John Cena, it just didn't feel on the table. And then to see The Rock give the throat slash and Cena turn on Cody, no, the earth stood still. My world ended for a moment. It was crazy.
How old are you?
I'm 45 years old, Dan.
Okay. Just making sure, because Gorilla Monsoon is not someone we all grew up admiring, although you and I are those people. I don't think anyone else here. Tony, tell me everything you know about Gorilla Monsoon.
Well, Dan, Gorilla Monsoon, of course, an incredible play-by-play guy. For the Wrestling Federation.
Figured it out, yes.
Sounds like it lives in the Sharknado film universe.
It sounds like a movie that's great, by the way. Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes, for sure.
Dan, that's something up your alley.
It's not a monsoon of gorillas.
That's right. We're going to go to Greg Cote in a second here, but another door that Peter cracked open. What happened Friday, like where we're in bed with Russia?
Bigger heel turn than Cena.
That's what he cracked the door open on what happened on Friday in America where we disgraced ourselves to the nation in the White House.
Honestly, that's just 24 hours before John Cena turned heel. Like in terms of seismic events, I think we can get through Friday.
To not be an ally to a nation under siege, to do that press conference.
And with that knowledge, John Cena still in Canada, north of the border, turned on the American nightmare Cody Rhodes.
But by the way, you have to be clear, Dan, we didn't just turn on Ukraine because, I mean, come on, what Americans care about Ukraine? They don't go visit Kyiv for the holidays. We also ostensibly turned heel on all of Western Europe, all of the places that you do like to visit, all of the places that everybody likes to go hang out. We basically held up a middle finger to all of them.
We also turned our backs to C Nation and hundreds, thousands of Make-A-Wish kids that have had their wish fulfilled by John Cena. And you got
so you're going Cena over
over
the American heel turn on Ukraine. You think Cena was even bigger?
Again, I think that we can dig ourselves out of what happened on Friday. There's no coming back for John Cena. Do you think he turns heel on Make-A-Wish? Like, I'm too busy all of a sudden.
Absolutely not.
I'm too busy.
Those are the kids. Come on.
Can't do this.
The
too
children
busy.
are our future.
Before we go to Greg Cote, can you see in your corner your former partner of 10 years, Michael Kay? Did you know he could dance like that? Were you aware that Michael Kay was such a good dancer?
By the way, never in my life had I seen those moves from him. And to know that that is, in fact, authentically him, regardless of what he says, to me, it's a miracle. And I'm upset. You know, Dan, I got married 2 years ago. He was there. I didn't see one of
Peter,
these moves,
we confirm that this is him. He's denying it to everybody, but Michael Kay is a known liar on this front. He's always wanted to dance like this, and only in the privacy of an elevator. You and I have confirmed that this is indeed Michael Kay.
Confirmed. Awful announcing. Printed. That is Michael Kay.
Thank you. He's been trying to disguise it for a long time. Let's go out to Greg Cote and get all his Oscar takes. What are you laughing about, Cote?
That's got to be AI, right? That cannot be.
No, it's Michael Kay.
Okay.
We've confirmed it.
Okay. Pete, I have a question for Peter if he hasn't gone yet.
I'm here.
The jukebox in the back, is that a working jukebox? And if it is, I wonder if you have queued up Shirley Bassey's Gold Finger.
You know, that would work well. That is a 1961, fully operational 1961 Rockola Regis. Wow. And that actually would work well, but no, it is not there, unfortunately.
Okay, very disappointing.
Peter, where do we go from here?
With C Nation?
Yeah.
No,
does he wear different tights?
No,
He can't come out there with the jorts.
Russia.
Does he go black jorts? Does he wear a
Black
suit now?
jorts. I think black jorts would be the place to go. I'd love to see him in a suit, but my guess is he'll somehow just still wear the same stuff because he has like 35 dates, and I feel like the T-shirts are printed for every city John Cena has to go to. You're going to do a whole new thing now? I don't know if you can.
You got to heel the shirts up, too. Instead of never give up, it's just going to be give up.
I would love that. No, turn heel. You know, be a turncoat. I would love to see that from John.
He should absolutely do something like, well, you can see me now. You never were actually able to see me before.
No,
now I'm who I am.
You didn't want to see me. Now you can find. Now you have to see me.
Whoa, Peter, let's write this stuff. Good, bro.
Peter, I have a question that might sound insulting, but I don't mean it to be. Do you consider yourself a journalist?
No.
Okay, then never mind.
Would you?
No, I want to know. I want to know what the follow-up was going to be, Billy. I want to know what the follow-up was going to be.
Yeah, well, so Dan is having a moral conundrum here because he was invited by the Panthers to bang the drum before the Panthers game today, but he thinks that his journalistic integrity is going to get in the way of him participating in banging the drum to say "Let's go Panthers." So we're trying to help him through this conundrum as the show goes on today.
Dan should not do it. Dan should not do it. If Dan was a yo-yo, like myself or Don LaGreca, we go do it. Actually, I wouldn't even put Don in that category. I would do it because I'm a yo-yo. Just give me free tickets and I'm there. Dan has made a career of being higher brow. He can't bang a drum at a Panther game, for God's sake. It's beneath him.
No, it isn't. Jack Nicklaus did it. Dan Marino did it. The very top of the sports
journalism
food
profession.
chain.
Yeah, they're not journalists. This is the most reasonable mind in all of sports broadcasting.
I guarantee Udonis has probably written something more recently than Dan. I'm going to find a Players Tribune article to back this up.
I'm torn. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's go to Greg Cote. Peter, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it. I should tell the people that it's not just, because he's got a lot of shows, it's not just Tubi and the voice of the WWE's newest series, WWE Evolve. He's also on Don Hahn and Rosenberg weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. on ESPN Radio New York, and he's co-host in the morning. This is insane. What are you doing? Weekdays from 5 to 10 on.
And I have a 6-week-old, by the way.
No,
and I also
wait a minute. How many hours a day are you on the air?
It's too much.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out. Listen,
you're
please.
doing 10 hours a day. What
You're
do you
doing the opposite of getting
You're
out.
doing a morning show.
Guys, he's doing the right thing. Trust me. As the father of an 8-week-old, he's doing the right thing. Get out there, go make your money, go do your thing, PR.
Hold on. When you say you're trying to get out, do you mean get out of the house
Yes,
away from
of
your
course,
6-week-old?
yes, absolutely.
No, I didn't. One of these things has to go. It just hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
I am getting nonstop texts from David Sampson here, infuriated that Peter Rosenberg was our Oscars expert today and not him and the ad name.
He called Conan. Yeah. Like, what's the deal with that?
And where am I going to go with Samson as it pertains to C Nation? A nation left in tatters.
Greg Cote, I am torn because it's not just
I got him.
It's not just that Greg Cote and Peter Rosenberg are asking me to uphold some long ago tattered journalism standard. It's that the rest of you, the younger people, disagree vehemently that that's a thing that should be protected.
You're not an active journalist anymore. I've actually gone through it. Jack Nicklaus, Udonis Haslem, and Raheem Mostert have all written more recently than you have.
Well, it's not the same as journalism, though. But I think it's less that there should be a wall-up between journalists and banging the drum. It's more so that if there were a wall-up, you'd be on the drum side these days.
So what do I do? Because I'd rather be on the other side. I don't actually want to do this, and it's not even.
Why not? It's a great honor.
I will. I will tell you.
Why are you saying it's not a great honor? They don't just do this willy-nilly. They're all people like Olympic gold medalists. They're all people of repute.
Mostert,
Jack
he led the
Nicklaus,
league in rushing touchdowns one year.
touchdowns,
Like everybody has something impressive on their resume that has done that.
Relationship building, Dan.
He had 18. I don't need that faraway laughter from Cote.
Relationship building.
All right, look. Mostert had 18 touchdowns in a season, deserved to bang the drum. The reason that I'm questioning the honor that it is because I think my resume is the text that I got, which is, hey, when we introduce you, how do we do so by nationality? And so I'm being honored here, I believe, simply for being Cuban-American. On Vamos Gatos night, when I say the punctuation on Vamos Gatos is incorrect, it feels like pandering. Vamos Gatos is something that we're more likely to say in the house as Hispanic people to get the cats out of the house, not into our embrace. Vamos Gatos, I'm being used as a symbol here. It's not merely the cheerleading part of it. It's, hey, go out there and be Hispanic.
I think Vamos Gatos is "Let's Go Cats."
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Like the only thing that isn't actually grammatically correct is the lack of comma.
There's no comma there, but Vamos Gatos, Let's Go Cats is, yes, literally translated. But if any of us were to say it in the house, it would largely be to get the cats out of the house. If we Vamos Gatos is
that'd
not,
be like Veten Gatos. Like, get out of here, cats.
that would be better as well. Yes.
I think you should look at it as even a bigger honor because out of all the Hispanic leaders in this community that have the reputation that would recommend they take part in this great honor, you're atop it.
Yeah, why'd they pick you?
They could pick anyone to pander. They picked you to pander.
I'm
Like,
sure
normally
Ron-
this is an Emilio Stefan lane.
Yeah, well, we don't know who said no. In fact, I'm going to text Ron. Ron probably said no. Ron McGill definitely said no.
Well, he definitely said no to coming to this because my wife invited his wife to come to it, and they're busy. So he.
Oh, classic.
All right, look, Greg, what's going on, Greg?
I'm enjoying the show. Somebody says something funny, I laugh.
All right, but what are you laughing at specifically? Because you're my greatest critic here.
Yeah. Well, you are doing journalism right now to put a microscope on the validity of the actual phrase "Vamos Gatos." So that's journalism. I think before you bang the drum, you should give a little tutorial to the 15,000 fans gathered there, getting ready to cheer "Let's Go Panthers," because you need to instruct them. You need to be informative. You need to bring out all of your Hispanic knowledge of the language and learn people. You know, they don't want to learn, they don't want to earn. You got to teach.
He's right about that.
Yeah. So do you chant also, or you just hit the drum?
I don't want to do any of it, guys.
Well, because it's his
Coca-Cola.
well, no, it's Hispanic heritage. So you would, I guess, you don't say "Let's go Panthers" tonight. You say
Vamos,
"Vamos Gatos." So are you
Let's
saying
Greg Cote.
Oh, I know what you should
Let's
do.
Greg
You should
Cote.
bring your dad as like a sort of meat shield. He's more famous anyways.
Don't do that.
Don't
Why
do
did
that.
they ask
Don't
him?
do that. You've done that move way too
Yeah,
much.
don't do that.
That's why
You got to
it's-
take
it's
this one on
his
the chin.
move.
It's a winning move.
That's
but
your
you got to
move.
take
It's
this one
a
on the
winning
chin.
move.
This
used
is
to
about
be.
relationship building.
It
After
used to
all.
be. He's no longer a television personality. You're no longer a journalist.
Jeez.
Wow, harsh.
Still a voter, though.
I think I still am a journalist right up until I bang the drum. I think
you've definitely discredited yourself long before that.
I think
I mean, when you attacked Rob Manfred, it was kind of
yeah,
writing
that
was
was
on the wall.
pretty much there.
Yeah.
Even back then, it was like awfully convenient. All right, write quarterly.
I'm scared of this for a number of different reasons. Here's one of them. The last time I tried to get a chant off the ground at the Food and Wine Festival, it went like this.
Coca-Cola. Can I get a Coca-Cola chant?
Yeah, this is why you should be saying no to it. There is no doubt in my mind, whatever is asked of you, and I think it's very little, you're going to be very bad at it. Yeah, you're going to be awkward, clumsy. It's going to be terrible.
Well, this is why I don't want to do it. I know this too. I want to shroud it in journalistic integrity of some sort. That feels better, but I'm scared of the whole thing.
You're going to be awkward. You're going to be offbeat.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a bad look for you.
I do enthusiasm poorly. I do. I public.
Yeah,
Jessica,
public enthusiasm.
Jessica,
yeah.
why are you cringing face? I do public performative enthusiasm
I'm
poorly.
picturing it, and it's just not. Have you practiced?
It's repressed.
also-
what if
Do you
you,
have a
get
drum?
booed? Ooh.
Also, like that far north, are you aware of what they think of us? Like, you're not going to get cheered, pal.
I know. This is why it's easier to avoid it. It's easier to.
But
just
you're
say,
not trying to avoid it. You're trying to put it down like you're too cool for school, like it's not some great honor, which it
But
is.
no, but
in
you-
fact, if you do a great job, they might invite you back
No.
because everyone's going to be like, remember all that juice Le Batard had? Yeah, let's go.
You have exposed me before all. I am vulnerable. I am splayed open before everybody. I don't want to do this because I'm afraid of it. I don't want to do this because it's wrong. The only reason I want to do it is because Mike, Roy, and Chris Cote say I should. And that I must. Say that I must.
It's a great honor.
they-
Yeah, absolutely.
Defending
you
Stanley
only
Cup champion.
want him to do it because then there's like a 0% chance if he doesn't do it, you get to do it, and maybe like a 1% chance if he gets to do it that one day you'll get to do it.
I am not worthy, though I am more of a journalist than Dan.
Billy.
Jalen Ramsey did it. He's not a journalist.
Billy,
so.
what do you vote here? Like, is anyone coming with me if I decide to do this?
In the helicopter? Or not?
Absolutely not. And by
Can
the
you pass by
way,
Kendall?
BT Dubs a little offended the McGills were asked.
I'm going to be there regardless.
Being a
covering the game.
journalist.
Being a
Roy,
journalist,
would
exactly
you do
right.
it if you were asked?
Of course I would.
Well, hold on a second.
And he's an
Whoa.
actual journalist.
Roy's an active journalist.
Wait, but Roy, you were just saying last week how you would never wear Panthers stuff to a Panthers game. So are you going to do it in like a button-down shirt because that's too far of a line to cross, but you'll bang the drum?
Exactly. I'll be wearing what I'm wearing right now.
Well, no, you get a personalized jersey.
Yeah, Dan, you should do it just for that. You get a free jersey out of it.
I don't want a free jersey.
Why not?
You're going to have to
Because-
upsell.
It's
Sweater.
comfortable.
You'll
Yeah.
get it. It'll be a number 1 jersey with Le Batard on the back.
No,
What
she
number
asked for
did they?
305.
Yeah, did they ask you your number?
Big jersey.
Jalen Ramsey was number 5.
I'm really torn on this.
You should be.
I don't. Well, you say I should be. You don't think I should be. You think this is an easy call.
Well, look, okay, first of all, the Panthers are too polite to have told you this, but you're auditioning, okay? If you blow it, then you'll never be heard from again in that arena. If you're pretty good, they might invite you back for the playoffs. If you bang the drum in the playoffs, then you've arrived. But it's an all-lose situation for you. You know, everything could go wrong. You could be offbeat on the drum. You know, instead of chanting "Let's go Panthers," they're going to chant Coca-Cola. The whole thing could end up being a nightmare.
You
I'm
should
just
practice.
really worried.
You should practice.
How is he so much better in the other room?
Vamos
that's a good point.
Gatos. You think they're going to ask me to chant? Get the stadium to start chanting that. Vamos Gatos.
Well, the
Yes.
drum does it. Like they may do.
Do you not know what you're doing with the drum?
I have a vague, faint idea.
Oh,
I also
boy.
don't know the tradition of the drum. I don't know any of the history of the drum.
It's
Billy,
okay.
please.
Telling them
Billy,
these
Mark,
things.
Mark, tell me all about it.
You
Mark.
need to, so they say, "Let's go Panthers." Panthers, and then you do the clap, 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 clap. So it's the 4, doom, 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 doom.
Right.
Do you know that? Do you not know the beat that you're supposed to be drumming to?
I have seen
important
Mike
beat.
McDaniel do it poorly. I've seen Jack Nicklaus do
Well,
it.
Mike McDaniel did not do it poorly. If you
Elderly.
think Mike McDaniel did it poorly, then you should say no because I'm going to be bad at this, and that's the only reason.
Oh my God, I might have to actually watch the Panthers game tonight.
Dan Marino did it poorly. I'm sorry. It wasn't Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel did it very well because he reared back and really sold it.
You got to eat it up. This is an incredible moment. Again, they don't do this before every game. They only do this when they have a celebrity big enough and a game that's big enough that you have to have a super famous celebrity to come up there and meet that moment and get the people crazy.
Tony, your opinion and Billy's opinion. And Jessica, I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like you've said I should not do this. You're alone in that room in saying that I should not do this.
I think that you should just do it because your job falls more in line with entertainment than journalism these days.
Yeah.
Heel turn, Dan Le Batard.
Wow, end of career heel turn.
Yep.
You
No
should
turning
do this
back.
because the doubts that we have in this is not journalism, ethics. No. I just don't think you're socially adept.
Yeah,
enough
you're
to
bringing the
nail
wrong
this
energy.
assignment.
Like, you gotta-
at your age, you need to prove the
Negative.
doubters wrong. You
Yeah.
need to be able to hit the drum on a particular cadence and get an arena
Yeah.
full of people saying, "Let's
Fired
go
up.
Panthers." If you're not able to clear this very low bar, then we all need to take a look at ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has to be just right, the timing. You can't be an iota off. Has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Or else an arena full of people is going to hoot and howl at your expense if it's not perfect.
I am going to decide what to do with the rest of my career based on your ability or lack thereof to nail the cadence of a "Let's Go Panthers" drum beat.
No
This-
pressure, Dan. But
This is look. I've told you. I don't know how often this has happened before in our past. I am speaking most honestly to you right now. I don't want to do this, and the reason I don't want to do it is because I am simply splayed out in front of you, 100% afraid of it.
Yeah, stop saying splayed. It's gross. I don't know why, but it's gross.
it's an HR thing. for
Also,
sure.
you're going to do like the drum part of "In the Air Tonight." I just know it. You're going to screw this all up.
Why did you just say no? Just tell him no then.
It's too late. He's trying to think of a good excuse to tell them no now, but it's too late. You've already said you're going to do
Yeah,
it.
I'm committed.
I have not. No, that's not in any way true. I don't know I'm going to do it.
Okay,
no,
well,
I brought
this is
it
very
in.
rude to our friends
Exactly
over at the
right.
Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
If they're watching this, you're going to get a call shortly saying,
No,
"Hey, guess what, friend? You're not doing it.
The phone's
Emilio's
been going.
doing
Look,
it."
no,
Blame
wait
me.
a minute. You guys misunderstood. No, you guys misunderstood what I brought in here. No, absolutely. You've got this wrong. I have not decided what I'm doing here.
That's awful.
Last night,
man.
That's really terrible.
last
how it
night,
works. Last
Roy,
minute.
Roy and Chris and Mike. I think you abstained, but Roy and Chris were adamant that this is something I must do, and I'm like, I must do it. Why must I do this?
I don't think that they really analyze how much this can affect their careers negatively if you go out there and embarrass
I
yourself.
realized it, and I'm telling you that I'm filing it under a bunch of other stuff, but I'm afraid of it as well. Like, we could talk about journalism. I'd love to put myself in the cloak of journalism, splayed out or not, and say I'm not doing this because I'm a journalist. I cannot do that. I am afraid of blowing this moment because I do not have the rhythm, the confidence, or the enthusiasm for it that you need to have that Roy would have if he was given this opportunity.
Oh, that drum would have no shot against
Yeah,
Roy.
he'd break the drum
it.
or the
He
or
would.
the
There'd be a
drum stick,
hole in
yeah.
the drum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Roy
all you
should
gotta
be
say,
doing
hey,
it, not
yeah,
you.
Roy
It's
should
the
do it.
lightning in town, and he
Should be
breaks that
Bellamy.
damn
Dude,
drum.
Dude, this
Oh,
is against the
goddamn right.
lightning, the bolts. Dan, come on, man.
I have envisioned a scenario where I hit it so hard the first time that it flies out of my hand because I have not practiced.
Unlikely.
could
Oh my God! And then
Oh,
it hits
don't
a
worry about
player,
that.
and then the game gets
Well, I
postponed.
think
Or
it's
the
Can you
veteran.
way.
Oh, it's a World War II veteran. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no.
100-year-old guy they wheel out every game.
Yeah, Dan, that's a thing. I don't know if you know this. A Panthers game, they do bring out like a vet, and you have to like stand, tip your cap to
Always
the vet,
tip your cap.
applause.
The
Yeah,
older the better.
do that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that?
Just so you know, it's when they play We Could Be Heroes.
Yeah. And if they're cheering, if people are standing and cheering, you didn't hear why, it's probably a vet, not you.
And you got to say red. You don't say Knight anymore because we traded him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's,
That's
gonna be
in
the
the
first game
national
too.
anthem.
That's going to be the first. Oh,
Dan,
do
I
we
know
say
you
Knight?
would
No,
probably
we do say
wanna
Knight to
boo,
honor
but
him.
be on your best
Did you know we traded for
behavior.
Seth
That's
Jones?
a big trade when you talk about
Popeye
that.
Jones' son is now a
Yes.
Florida Panther.
Yes.
How about that? Greg, did you know that? Popeye Jones' kid is
I
a
did
Florida
know
Panther.
that. That's exciting.
Well, you know Puck.
Dan's going, who's Seth Jones?
No, talk to his dad 55 minutes about it. I'm a hockey expert. Watch me bang that drum.
Okay.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
Does anyone know where Billy is? Because he or
Oh,
Mark, if
Mark,
you prefer, yes.
Está en el baño, creo, no sé.
Okay, we would think he's got a bathroom emergency.
Upset, tell me.
All right, we will ask.
I saw him with some medicine this morning. He came with a CVS bag. He had some medicine in there. I couldn't exactly read what the medicine was. Maybe it's something to stop or something to go. We don't know.
HIPAA.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes,
Illy.
we shouldn't be doing that. Illy Gil, Billy Ill. I don't know any of these things to be true either. They might all be reckless speculation. I just don't know where he is.
I'm telling you what I saw, Jack. It's a fact.
It's very rude to speculate on another man's tummy.
Yeah.
Okay, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is it rude to speculate on another man's tummy? I have not seen what any of the reaction has been to this, so I am just genuinely curious. As one of the great evergreen sports topics in the history of sports, a Hall of Fame topic of should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? For the President of the United States to now pardon Pete Rose months after his death is not just posthumous, it's posthumorous, okay? The idea that Rob Manfred is now saying, okay, I'll take it under advisement whether to bring him into the Hall of Fame. The man was literally dying to get into the Hall of Fame for 50 years. Dying, and as soon as he dies, now you consider pardoning him from what? He already served the sentence. Like, what are we pardoning? That we are forgiving Pete Rose's name after he's died? Doing exactly what good for whom?
Did the president always have the ability to pardon Pete Rose? They just never thought of it?
I don't think he did. I think he overstepped his bounds
I'm
here.
saying any president ever could have been like, you know what? I pardon Pete Rose.
Was he just pardoning him for the crime, the tax evasion crime? Like posthumously? Or he wasn't pardoning him and saying, I get to decide whether Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame, correct?
I didn't know that this is how pardons worked. That you can just pardon people for making whoopsies that stain their reputation in their own sport.
Greg, do you have any thoughts here?
Well, baseball has come out and said the president has no sway over whether or not somebody is eligible to be on the Hall of Fame ballot.
Who would have had it as baseball being the one entity to stand up against one of these executive orders? Like, no, now we're going too far. You're testing your power, pal.
You can't.
We're Major League Baseball.
You can't.
God damn it.
You can't put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Do you know how long we've been stubborn about this one dumb thing? But I'm with Trump on this one, too.
Paper straws. This.
It's a museum. It's not a moral factory. Like, I want to ride behind Trump on this and then get violently out of the way when we do what we did Friday to embarrass, like, the Ukraine. Like that. I don't know where Americans are on shame. But Friday? No.
It's humorous to me that we're now feigning outrage over the idea that Trump has an alliance with Putin. Not a surprise. Been going on for years. Why are we acting like we're so surprised that he's against Ukraine in this whole matter? Everything indicated that he was.
In terms of how horrified you are or embarrassed on behalf of the country, where does Friday rank?
I think it's terrible. For the past 4 years, we've been allies of Ukraine and giving them weapons and helping them fight Russia, and now we're turning heel like John Cena.
This is way too soon. I don't know where we go from here. It feels like over the weekend we reached a point of no return. Our strongest alliances falling by the wayside, the memories that we had getting along with so many across the globe, knowing that John Cena was our tried and true hero, knowing that he had every opportunity, maybe even flirted with a line. You think back to ECW One Night Stand. If Cena wins, we riot, still going into the face of that and holding on to his principles. And now, for what? Just so you can get a record-breaking 18th World Championship because you know you don't have it anymore, so you have to align yourself with the final
Jessica, did you find out whether indeed while Billy was gone there was a HIPAA violation?
Well, the problem with accusing someone of having tummy trouble is that even if they deny it, it's like no one really believes them because you've already put that thought into their head.
We were just
What's
hoping that you
happening
were
now?
okay.
Tony
We
accused
were
you of
just-
having diarrhea.
We were just
I did not
hoping-
accuse anybody of doing anything. I said that you came in today with a CVS bag of a medicine. I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was, whether to keep things in or keep things out. I didn't know.
In many respects, it makes perfect sense that Cena would align himself with The Rock, being that he's always wanted what The Rock has had. He's always tried to get what The Rock has had, but he's never quite been able to push it to that threshold. Even in sports entertainment, he has never been able to take it to the heights that The Rock did. Now, he did a pretty good job. He was the face of the company, as we've all established, but he was just falling just short, even in his pursuits of Hollywood. Falling just short, always compared to the man. And now the man is offering his entire world to you. You get to pick my brain, and you get to be a world champion for the
All right,
18th
Mike, I
time.
got it. All right, I got it. You don't want me to talk about Russia. So let me talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about instead, and that you're not going to be able to run me off as obviously as you're doing on that one, okay? Our contract, we're in a contract year here, and we've got a few months left on our contract here with DraftKings, and I want to be open. Stephen A. Smith.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
You can't. You got to let me talk openly about these.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I missed this.
I told our audience I would be open and vulnerable about everything.
How about you open what you need to open instead of telling us about the openness that you want to
Where
open?
is it? I haven't seen it.
Check under the 18 glass cases that you
hold
have
on.
under there.
I haven't.
Maybe move away
Partnership
some of
with
that
a glasses
lotion.
company.
It's
What are you
under,
doing?
yeah, your unscented lotion tube.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's deep under there, huh?
Confused about the Pete Rose take earlier.
It's not. I don't know.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Búcalo.
Say hi to Taylor for me. It was his birthday over the weekend.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's really buried under there, man.
Oh, there.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
God, I hope the first question's about Cena. I can talk about this all day. All week.
How long has this been?
It's dusty.
He was a
Dust it off,
baby. He was a
dust off
baby
the
face
top.
for 20 years.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
He kicked off the ruthless aggression era by slapping Kurt Angle in the face, and since then he's taken us on a whirlwind.
How? This has been years since we've done.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
But it's also been years since he's been a fixture in the main event scene. He is carrying quite the losing streak, which is why he would find himself in the situation to turn to The Rock, knowing that he's not good enough anymore on his own.
Greg, go ahead and reach into the.
I just don't know why Travis Scott was there.
How does the magic crate not stop you from talking?
Because it stops you from talking.
Look,
not
I-
us.
I- it only relates to you.
Literally,
That's how that works.
nothing
I mean, have you listened to
ever
the show?
stops him from talking. Nothing.
Da-da-da-da.
Who, me?
He doesn't respect any of the properties we have around
I
here.
read it?
Yes, you read it. Close to the microphone, like
Okay.
a broadcast
All right,
professional.
Sorry. How close
Da-da-da-da-da.
is John Cena to The Rock?
Wow, great question.
No!
That
Do
is
you
not.
mean in terms of
That's-
friendship?
That is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Proximity?
Give me that sheet of
It's
paper.
an open-ended question.
In terms of like national and
Yeah,
international
I mean-
stature?
Hold on. I think this is for Dan.
That is not what this piece of paper
I
says.
misread.
What?
I apologize.
All right,
These
you have
new
to answer
glasses
the
of
first
mine
question.
don't
Mark,
work.
where have you been?
I'm here.
That's not an answer to my question. How much would I have to pay you to never talk to any of your friends again?
What?
Can I make new friends with all my new money?
That
get
is a-
money for
That
free?
is a great question. Yes, yes. How much would I have to pay you to never talk to any of your friends again? It's not money for free, Billy. You'd have to get rid of all of your friendships.
For me, it's money for free.
You don't have any friends?
You
I
wouldn't
don't
talk to
talk-
me
I-
anymore?
How much?
He would still talk to you, Tony. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You don't have. You're saying that it would not cost you anything. That for the price of $100, money for free.
Well, no, I'd set the price much higher than that.
But just because you're negotiating, your low point, what you're saying is if this were a real thing, all you would need
well, I
is
check in with my friends every once in a while here and there, but it's not like, a thing. I don't need them to live.
Can you still communicate, like non-verbally?
Ooh, great question,
With
Greg.
cue
Sign
cards.
language?
That's why Greg's on. Or I was thinking text or email, but cue cards works.
Like I would hold up a card that said, "Hey, Billy, how you doing?" Then you would scroll a cue card.
No,
and
I don't
respond.
think.
Write it
No,
back.
you can't. It's
Hey,
not
Greg.
just literally talking. It's communicating in any way with your friends. If
That's
I
not
say,
what the question said.
That's not what the question said.
okay, but I'm changing it for the purposes of this discussion.
Respect
Liar.
No middleman?
Respectfully, what?
No, I said respect the crate.
I am respecting the crate by no longer talking about our contract negotiations, which is what I wanted to talk about. Mike didn't respect the crate by just filling with more John Cena talk. Greg didn't respect the crate by simply making up the question
I
that
misread it.
Am I in witness protection in this instance?
Like you're gonna die if you do talk to one of them because your identity will be revealed.
Like I've been moved somewhere else in the world and I have to forget my past life because of something that's gone on.
I think that's a different question.
Oh.
Well, no, I don't think it's a different question. I think Billy is adding to the question by saying to us, will the people who I'm excommunicating for a price know that I've done it because I've just disappeared from one day to the next? Am I doing Billy translations correctly?
How old am I when this happens?
Right now.
And does the rest of my family, are they able to communicate with
Is your
my
wife
friends?
your friend? Because then you wouldn't be able to talk to her either.
That's
You
a
have to have
tricky
a,
question.
That's a
That's a
family
stipulation there.
loophole.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have
it's
to.
not
So
on the-
can my
it's not on the
family
card.
talk to my friends on my behalf? Can we play telephone where I say, hey, tell Chuck, I say whatever, and then my wife goes, oh, Chucky, Billy said, and then it comes back and passes to me.
Yep, there's a way around it.
Well, it depends on the intent of the question. Is the question that you would never communicate to your friends ever again, or is the question just talk to them?
If I write on a cue card and give it to my wife, can she vocalize that, or does she have to give my friends the cue card?
Billy thinks X. He's not talking. You're again trying to get through loopholes on this. I thought the question was, you go federal witness protection. You're not talking to any of. You're not communicating with friends anymore.
But
The
do your
question
friends
was-
think you died?
It was technically how close are John Cena and The Rock, if we're going to ask the actual
And
question.
what were Travis Scott's motivations? Because he wasn't just like standing idly by. He took an active role in the attack.
Wait. Hold on. Do my friends know that I accepted money in exchange for not speaking
Well,
to them
that's why I
again, or
thought
do they
you
think
wanted.
that I'm just a jerk?
That's why I thought you wanted to be in witness protection so that they would never know. Billy just disappeared. Now he's not talking. They'll never know that you
Hang
paid
on.
that off for a price.
What if you set the price at like $5 million and you never talk to your friends again, but they each get like $500,000? I think everyone would take
out of my $5 million, out of my $5 million, or
Yeah,
someone
like,
else is
assuming
funding
you have
this?
like
No.
2 friends
I'm
or
not
3
paying
friends.
my friends to not talk to me.
We're
My
talking-
friends cannot talk to me for free.
We're not talking about acquaintances though. We're saying like maybe there's a couple people because my friends would take that deal. They'd be
Okay.
like, all right, I'll take the $500,000.
I have
See
a
ya.
follow-up question to this question, which is I think what the Magic Crate was intended for. So, if I take the money, do my friends know that I took the money or not? And Dan, if you were someone who had a close friendship and then your friend stopped speaking to you, and they say your friend decided to stop speaking to you for $250,000, would you then understand them taking the money or be more upset with them for taking that money to never speak to you again?
These are good questions. It is why the Magic Crate, even after a long layoff, produces magical things. I believe we've already answered one of these. If you are indeed respecting the crate and the question, not semantics and loopholes, you have to get rid of your friends. You've asked a question that's very controversial. Is your wife your friend? You did not answer it.
Jess asked that. I don't know. She's my family, technically, because we're married, right?
But yes, you're married.
Yeah,
so
but some people are married and they're like, oh, my wife's my best friend.
Right.
Come on.
They're all
Well,
lying.
2 became 1 though, Billy. So
They haven't been
technically
married
she's
very
with
long
you.
if they're
They're
saying
all
that. I'll tell
lying.
you that right now.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is your spouse lying if they say you are their best friend?
Yeah, everybody knows that.
You're just saying, though, that you're now in federal witness protection. I thought the value of that is that you would never have to tell your friends that you sold them out for a price.
Well, there's 2 instances here. I did witness a crime, which is why I'm in witness protection, but now I have this double offer. So I have 2 things going on here in this scenario.
But you are valuing money above friendship is what you are saying. There is a
It
price.
could be accolades too. That's why I think John Cena did this, because he's got all the money in the world. Like, what is it that The Rock can offer him that he can't get on his own? A superstardom that is unattainable if he just stays in his lane. That's why learning at the knee of The Rock has certainly its benefits. What I don't understand is Travis Scott came to the ring looking for a fight. Like, he had already showed up to the squared circle not liking Cody Rhodes.
So accolades can be included with the money. So, like, I can take less financially, but here's a Grammy also in exchange for not talking to your friends? Is that what you're
no,
asking?
that's not what I'm doing, and I'm going to regret. I regret bringing any of this up with you, Greg. Can you tell me? I don't think it would cost you anything to get rid of all of your friends. I don't think you have that many friends. You need that much contact, and so that you would simply say there's a very low price on this.
I don't even know how to answer that. What'd you win a Grammy for, Billy?
Well, no, it'd be part of the deal. Is I'd take a Grammy. I'd have to put out a song, obviously, and then they rig the Grammy.
What do you mean
Yeah,
you don't know how to answer? It's the question that was in the crate. What would it cost for you to never talk to your friends again?
It's a difficult question for me because I don't have a lot of friends, but I do have a lot of money, so I don't particularly need the money. Do I need friends? Debatable. So it's a conundrum.
It doesn't sound like it's a conundrum. It sounds like for a cheap price, you would never talk to your friends again.
No, I don't think so. Why do I need $500?
It's not $500.
Well, you set the bar where you want to. Like it could be like $10 million is your price.
It could be $100 million.
Yeah. What's the price of your soul?
Okay.
Because that's what John Cena gave up to The Rock. That was the asking price from The Rock to Cody Rhodes.
Please get him out of here. Please.
I'm not going to do that. And we keep invoking souls.
Final penalty, 2 minutes, rambling.
You got to get out.
This is why I'm saying the best version of the answer to this question is you get some money and your friends get some money, and you're helping people out.
What was your answer, Dan? Because it was asked of you, and you've just spun it on us.
Dan never answered.
Well, Valerie's his best friend, so that makes it complicated.
That is true. Yes.
Hey.
Yes, she's become my best friend.
That's so cute.
Yeah, the previous best friend died.
Oh,
did I ruin it?
Well,
Did I ruin it?
kinda.
Who was the previous best friend?
Oh, dark place.
I've had a best friend die too, Dan. It's okay.
Well, it's not a contest. Jeez Louise, what are we doing now?
Comparisons.
I've had 3 or 4 good friends die.
Oh, Greg wins.
Yeah. Then again, I'm old.
It's a circle of life.
Which
It
is why
is.
I feel like maybe, I don't know, $500,000 for you?
I was talking about Gene Hackman.
Yes, yeah.
I was talking about him too.
We're never going to get to the bottom of that, are we?
The plot on that one thickens.
Yeah.
Because when the details came out, you've got him in one room, dead. His wife around pills in the bathroom, dead. A dog in a cage, so it's not a pact between all of them. A dog died a really gruesome death with no food or water, while the other 2 dogs ran around. And he's been dead since, according to recent reports, since at least February 17th. So for 2 weeks, we don't know how the dogs stayed alive. We do know how the dog died, but we don't know how Gene Hackman and his wife died, and the presence of pills and the time elapsed on it make it all a mystery that a lot of people are checking in on. And I've noticed, and this is recent here, this is another way that the old people get tricked with new habits. The way that YouTube monetizes keeping you around for 20 minutes, not answering questions about Gene Hackman's death while just delaying a video that is meant to just keep you there longer and longer as AI talks about some of the facts around the death, but so few that they're just meant to keep you there for 30 minutes, not giving you any new information on a story that all of us would like out of just curiosity. Hey, what happened over there? Something happened that is at the very least mysterious and at the very top suspicious. The rest of you are where on trying to gather? Is America, all of America and the internet, are we all now sleuths on finding out what happened to Gene Hackman at the end?
Absolutely, Dan. I think what I don't like was from the original jump, the police saying that there was no foul play. I don't like that. When you come out and say, you don't even know, right? You guys haven't done the investigation yet. You're still starting the investigation.
Keep an eye on that cop.
For you to come out and say there was no foul play, fishy. I don't like that.
Yeah, there was also another dog roaming around, right? What was that dog?
2 dogs.
What did that dog know?
No, it was 2 dogs.
Yeah.
It was 2 dogs
Roaming around?
were alive. Yes, 2 dogs were found alive. 1 was in a cage.
What did they see?
Yeah,
And how do
seriously.
we know the dog didn't put himself in that cage?
I'd be talking to the dogs if I was the cop.
I think we do know that he wouldn't put himself in that cage.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
How?
I can rule that out. That the dog didn't put itself in the cage and then starve. And
You're not a copper.
Dogs do that.
Mhm.
Jumpin'
All
Charlie
dogs-
does it all the time.
Thank you, Greg. All dogs go to heaven.
Dan, weren't you the one that was like, ooh, it was a love pact right when it happened?
The dog?
I was.
Yeah, and we
yes.
were like, oh, it's like the scene in Air Bud where they all put their hands in and then the dog puts its paw in at the end. We made that joke.
And then the
last
dog
week.
put himself in the cage.
What was your theory, Jessica?
I don't know. It's really sad. I kind of makes me bummed out, especially because it seems like they were dead for a while and their family didn't realize it, which is like really sad and it's awful. But I don't know. And the other thing is like, yeah, the dog makes me sad. Just must have been a horrible way for them all to die.
Yeah. I'm surprised that the dog didn't start eating things that they weren't supposed to be eating, because you know that happens, Dan. Elderly people pass away. They have a dog. All of a sudden, the dog's hungry. It's not getting fed. They take a couple bites. Things like that happen.
All the time. To go back to Dan's initial question, I think that I could die and my friends wouldn't know for 2 months.
It wasn't my initial question. It was the mystery crates.
Would Jumpin' Charlie eat you if you died, Greg?
Probably.
Really? Where'd he start?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Would your dog eat you if you died at Le Batard Show? Mike Ryan is dying to chime in from the penalty box where he only got 2 minutes, and he's got a lot of thoughts on Gene Hackman because he's always got a lot of thoughts on everything.
Well, the mystery aspects of this story, you learn something new every day. However, it seems like we're not going to really get some closure to this for quite some time, as John Cena has already traveled back to Africa to finish filming. So we don't know if the Rock has not been advertised for Raw on Netflix.
Okay, enough. Get him out of here. I can't keep doing this
Cena's
with him.
got big ears, huh?
Travis Hunter came out and said that what he does is more difficult than what Shohei Ohtani does. Travis Hunter, what are you shaking
I
your head?
agree.
What?
Yeah, because Ohtani's not getting hit every single time he touches the field. What? He's never getting hit, actually.
Travis Hunter, so let's discuss this for a second. Travis Hunter is looking to do something that no one in the history of the NFL has been able to do. There are a lot of conversations happening around what is going to happen at the number 1 pick. I thought that this was a weak draft, but this part of it is fascinating. The top 3 is fascinating. Between Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter, which order do you put value where when you start deciding about who's going to trade up to decide, no, I think Cam Ward is the best of these 3, or Shedeur is the best of these 3, and Travis Hunter making the argument, as the best player in college football, that I can be an unprecedented football player. I know I'm not a quarterback, but I can cover 2 positions for you. People think I'm a better wide receiver than I am as a cornerback, but I intend to play all of the downs. I intend to increase my injury risk by double. I intend to test the limits of the human body on what stamina can be in an NFL football game in the fourth quarter when they're driving down the field. How tired am I? Because I'm running sprints all game, and I'm going to be twice as tired as the next guy. There are limits on the human body. He intends to do this, and he's saying that it's harder than what Shohei Ohtani does. Hitting a baseball is widely regarded to be the hardest thing, but in sports. But I would say close nearby is trying to cover an NFL receiver when the quarterback and the wide receiver know where he's going and you don't. Like, that'd be really close to as hard as hitting a baseball. If you can get a guy in the salary cap age to play 2 positions for you at an elite level, I don't see how it's possible. I mean, Deion Sanders is the closest I've ever seen try to do it, and they just played him occasionally at wide receiver. Like, it's not something I've ever seen in the sport. Troy Brown, I guess, did some of it, but asking somebody to play just the stamina level of that, what do you consider when you think about what it is that Travis Hunter is saying?
I don't think it's going to happen. And unless I'm mistaken, he has yet to give an ultimatum to teams. He has yet to say, if you draft me, I'm playing both ways, and if you don't want me to play both ways, don't draft me. I don't think he's said that yet because he knows that 90% of NFL coaches are going to go, nope.
But wait,
I don't want you gassed in the third quarter.
What about the idea of it, though? The idea of the Deion Sanders model is coming to this sport, and there's a family trying to sort of shake the power structure at the top of, we'll play where we want, we'll do what we want. Look at the value these 2 players had at this team. If Travis Hunter decides to press the gas on, I want to be paid like a cornerback and a wide receiver. I want to go up the draft. Hey, I'm a value because I'm going to play both positions for you. If I'm an agent or a manager, I'm pressing the gas on all of that stuff. If I'm Travis Hunter, widely available to you all over the field.
Well, I'd probably press the gas on wide receiver because if you get franchise, people pay more for a wide receiver, a prime top of the food chain type wide receiver. So that's where you probably start. And I think a lot of teams, it may not actually be up to Travis Hunter. They may see that the value is so strong in one direction that they don't even run the risk of putting him on the opposite side of the ball.
I see all the pre-draft stuff as just like politics. Like he's just trying to position himself in the best way possible. Whatever, yes, Tony, politics. Whatever happens after the draft, like he'll have some say and obviously not the final say. But right now, making yourself seem like, you think that you're capable of doing all these things is something that we know NFL front offices really like to hear. They like that he's open about playing both positions. They like that he's versatile. They like that he's not shutting off one part of his game or turning down an idea for him. So I kind of just see it as like a political angle right now.
There's a lot of talk, but he actually does it, right? Like he was an excellent corner. He was probably one of the best wide receivers in the country outside of Jeremiah Smith. Like he's a guy that can go on the field and make either of those happen. I don't know if this is a report, if I saw something where he's going to play a little bit more corner than he is wide receiver. I think it's dependent on the team that he goes to, but he's already done it.
I think you need to do better on your sourcing than I don't know if this is a report or if it's something I saw.
I'm not a journalist, Dan.
You were thinking, Greg Cote?
He's never banged the drum. I was thinking that the choice is not going to be his on where he plays, and I'm thinking that Colorado is a second-tier college team with a schedule inherently built in with a handful of very easy opponents. He's not going to have any easy opponents in the NFL. I think the step up in competition is going to affect him at both of his positions. I'm not saying he's not going to be a great NFL player, but he's not going to dominate and be Heisman Trophy great in the NFL.
If I can ask the rest of you this, because it is something I'm a little bit baffled by. All of you mentioning the choice isn't going to be his. When it comes to having power in sports for the athlete, and it's harder to come by in football, where all of you are like, Myles Garrett asked for a trade. Is he going to be able to execute that? He's Myles Garrett. We're going to waste his career there with Deshaun Watson? When Travis Hunter and Deion Sanders, and I say want to shake the system, and all of you are like, he's not going to get to choose it for himself. Well, if he's that valuable and good at both of those things, he will be able to choose it for himself. And my guess is he thinks he is. And my guess is he'd like to choose for himself. Is there any particular reason you guys are reminding me of how he doesn't get to choose for himself?
Is there any particular reason why you're making this a hill to die on for Travis Hunter? Because he's actually played the game quite well so far.
It's quite simple. Like every player wants to be in for every snap. Like every wide receiver wants to be in for every snap count. Him saying he wants to play every single snap at wide receiver and corner in a game is like every player would tell you that they want to do that, and it's not their choice because the coaches decide who goes in for what plays.
He also doesn't really have any leverage as a rookie, right? As soon as he gets drafted, he's stuck in that contract until he's a free agent. So like he can try to exercise his power 4 years from now or whenever, but like this year he can't really do that.
The reason why it was such a big storyline that Deion Sanders was going to influence this whole draft process so much is because at the time it looked like, Shedeur and Travis Hunter, they might be 1 and 2. And it's not the case anymore. Their odds to be drafted number 1 are long. And you have a situation now for the first time that you have 3 players that are vying for number 1. The last time there was this much mystery surrounding the number 1 pick, I think it was the year that Baker got drafted, where the Browns were very good at keeping that a secret. But there's all sorts of uncertainty now, especially with the injury. And you don't know if, I know Rosenhaus has come out and said that Abdul Carter should be fine and does not need surgery. He's actually been advised against surgery, but that is a pretty big thing. I think ultimately, if you're looking for job security, the safe thing might be take the bona fide pass rusher, the number 11 from Penn State. That always works. And you could always throw up your hands and say, look, we know we have a quarterback issue to address. We can handle that next year, which is top to bottom a better draft class for that position.
Right. No, you're right about that. I mean, neither Shedeur or Cam Ward are considered that absolute franchise maker. I think what's going to happen with Travis Hunter is a compromise. And if I had to predict, I would say he's going to be an NFL cornerback, but he's also going to be the secret weapon in the red zone. He's going to get 8 or 10 snaps a game in scoring situations. And that would satisfy him. That would satisfy his talent, but it would not overwork him to do 2 full-time positions and always be on the field.
But he is a better offensive player than defensive player. He is widely regarded as a more valuable player on offense. You're saying he's going to play offense more, even though it's not what most people think he's best at?
I mean, what I've read from the experts is that the NFL generally sees him as a cornerback more than a wide receiver. that could prove
I didn't
inaccurate.
think. I thought he was. I thought it was consensus that we all understood he wasn't good as at corner as he is at wide receiver. I thought that was a given, known.
Okay. But if you're going to do what I say, which is a compromised situation, it makes more sense to have him play full-time corner and be your secret weapon on offense.
It doesn't, though, if he's better at offense. I think you've got your information backwards. You're putting him on the field more at a less valuable position that he's less good at.
It also depends where he goes, right? And the
Right.
depth that each of
course.
those teams has at those positions, how much time he's actually going to play at either of the positions.
Let me do this another way with you guys. If you notice what happened over the weekend, I think a lot of people were like, ooh, Debo to Washington, while Philadelphia talks about, hey, we got to keep the Commanders away from us, do we need to go in on Myles Garrett? This as the Dallas Cowboys fall way back, and at the very bottom of the standings over there, in a town that kind of matters, the Giants are talking to Aaron Rodgers because it's only Tommy DeVito under contract, and you guys are telling me here there's no franchise quarterback, and the GM that lost Hard Knocks for the NFL to Bill Belichick is saying he will look under every rock for a franchise quarterback. That doesn't tend to be where they are. They don't. You can look under all of them.
They're not there.
There's never one there in the history of rocks. There's never been a franchise
There
quarterback.
is, though.
Kurt Warner?
No, there is.
Tom Brady.
He's at a supermarket.
If you look under Dwayne Johnson right now, you'll see a franchise player in John Cena. You turn over that rock, he has John Cena's soul.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, rambling.
I don't want to hear about John Cena anymore.
What is the value of owning one's soul? Like, that seems like a commitment. I don't want to own someone for all of eternity. I get tired of people very quickly.
Pretty good soul.
Ask Nosferatu.
Great love story. Get out of here.
I
Mike.
saw a comparison being made about Eli Manning and Adrien Brody on the internet.
What?
No, you stay in here for this one because Eli Manning won.
Can she do
Hold on
that?
a second.
Won
she
2
can't.
Super
No,
Bowls,
she- no, she
but then
cannot do that
widely
one.
considered not one
No,
of the greats.
both of you.
I can
Adrien
play two
Brody
positions.
No,
two
both of you
Best Actor
out.
awards
No.
over
Mike's here as a cornerback right
here.
now.
40 years, but like,
I
what's
don't-
his
I
third
don't
best
know.
movie?
I don't need
Not
it.
I
wrestling,
couldn't
Mike.
tell you.
I could not
No.
tell you Adrien Brody's
He was
third
good in
best-
Peaky Blinders.
Angels in the outfield.
As good as Pat
Oh
Rowley.
yeah, he was in Angels in the Outfield.
By the way, it is documented. Adrien Brody did, in fact, have the longest acceptance speech in Oscars history.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, Mike, I
5 minutes
also
and 40
I
seconds.
wanted to ask you, Zoe Saldana, when she accepted Best Supporting Actress for Amelia Perez, she shouted out her husband having great hair.
Yeah.
Did you see his hair?
I
Yeah,
did
I
see
did.
his
Great
hair.
hair,
I
yeah.
thought his
Amazing
hair
hair.
was great hair.
Has she always been Saldana, or is this a Larinaga thing?
I think it's a Larinaga thing.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, high sticking.
Both of you out of here.
You think it's John Cena?
Senya.
I'll be seeing.
Please don't make me sit next
I'll
to
be
him.
seeing you, both of you.
Well,
Get
you
out of
can't
here.
see John Cena.
Well, maybe you can now. I
You
don't know.
both need to leave. Belichick
How's your tummy?
got in and stole Hard Knocks. It was such a gangster move. The news that came out, I cannot tell you how much I'm enjoying the buildup to North Carolina being must-see television next year, simply because this man has decided to manage the end of his career with a 24-year-old manager / girlfriend. How does he stay relevant in the modern age when competing against the NFL for things? He's going to do the opposite of the Patriot way. He's going to allow all the cameras into his life to film the end of his career. In the streaming age, when everyone will crawl all over themselves to compete to see, can we see the insides of the end of Bill Belichick's career? What do you mean he's going reality star at the end?
Everything that he's doing right now seems like it's going to end poorly for him. The relationship probably will end poorly for him. The show will probably end poorly for him. I don't know if they're going to be must-see TV. Like, I worry about Bill's ticker. You know what I mean? Because, like, how much heartbreak can one man take? Because these seem like all not the best decisions at this moment.
Don't worry about his ticker. His ticker's doing just fine, clearly. Clearly, it's doing fine. All right. But if they go to a 0-2 start, 0-3 start to start the season, there's a lot of deflation there that could happen. Deflation.
You know
You got
what? Look, it was just a couple of years ago that Deion Sanders goes to Colorado. He's the talk of football. I think he won Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year that year. What did he go, 3-9? 5-7? Bill Belichick doesn't have to win at North Carolina. He's already won. The recruits are going to come after him. He's not going to need to recruit
Roy,
anybody.
why are you making faces at Greg?
He doesn't have to win at Carolina?
Not immediately.
What was he hired for?
Not immediately. He doesn't. You don't think Bill Belichick's career survives a 5-7 season at North Carolina? Of course it does. Because everybody's going to go, all right, he's getting going now.
But career survives so that he may have a couple of years at North Carolina. If he has a couple of bad years of North Carolina, it will then be over.
It'll be over as soon as he gets another offer from the NFL.
He's not going to get 5 years to fix North Carolina.
No, he won't.
This is the end of Bill Belichick's career. It is a large risk he is taking. He wants to coach so badly that he's going into totally foreign territory. Billy, why are you making faces?
Well, a couple of things. Bill Belichick's going to be fine. I'm not going to shed a tear over Bill Belichick in his career. He's done just fine his entire life. Also, the Hard Knocks thing kind of feels like, and I don't mean this to be rude, I think we're going to see a lot of Mike Lombardi. I don't know how much Bill Belichick's going to be participating in the off-season front office Hard Knocks. I think we're going to see a lot of Lombardi as GM of this team kind of making decisions, which is fine. Mike Lombardi, good friend of ours, but I don't know how much
He's not
Belichick,
a good friend of ours.
Yeah, God bless football twice a year at least.
Yes,
well, friend of yours.
Yeah. We got the first sit-down with him after he took that North Carolina job, Lombardi.
Billy,
Lombardi line.
Billy and Greg, I want you to explain and defend the fact that both of you are out here very publicly on all things Belichick here are about to fail. Every Belichick.
Come on.
No, I didn't say that.
I did.
I said his first season is going to be rough.
I believe that you guys are set to downgrade, hate on, and not enjoy as much as I'm enjoying. Holy Bill Belichick's about to put the end of his career on display with a fireworks show that runs the antithesis of being against everything he's ever been. Can the old man keep up in a young man's game? Please show me all of that on television.
So you're talking about Cena still. Yes, these are all the very same notes. Does he still have it? He acknowledged that he doesn't, so he has to turn to The Rock. Yes, and it's for the world to see.
This has never happened before.
I know what you want to do, Dan.
Hold on. Let me do it real quick.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, asshole.
Wait.
We've got a penalty, 5 minutes, major asshole.
7 minutes?
That's amazing.
Wow.
It's never happened before.
So what you want to do is you want to do wins and losses of North Carolina's football
I think so too, yeah.
Because I'm looking at it, and you're saying, oh, he's going to be must-watch television, rebuild, blah, blah, whatever. So I'm looking here. TCU.
Could be a fun game.
That's a W. We'll say that's a W. Charlotte.
The 49ers.
That's a W. Richmond Spiders, W.
Watch the Spiders, though.
Then we have UCF. Now, UCF.
Tough game.
No, that's a W.
Okay.
Clemson, we don't know. We're going to figure out where is it that Bill lies in terms of Bill and Dabo. Dabo, some people thought maybe he lost a step last season. Uncertain whether or not he lost a step last season. We'll find out this year. What is happening now? Then California. Oh, Cal, Dan, that's where you went with the judge in the car and you crashed in a taxi. Remember that? And then he said that you had to go, you cannot leave. Then Virginia.
Who's?
That's Syracuse. Oh, Syracuse. ACC champions.
Stanford's in the ACC now.
Stanford, the tree, and then Wake Forest, and then Duke.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I had a very awkward interaction with Tony before the show where he sort of delighted in starting to tell me that he has applied for a new job. And I was both confused by his enthusiasm and wondering about his judgment as well.
Well, no, but I told you, I prefaced it by saying it's a side gig. It's not going to take me away from here, but it's something that's very exciting and something that I hope somebody in here can help me with.
All right, we'll get to it in a second. I was just confused by all of it. Also confusing, the way the last segment ended, I feel like Jessica applied some of the fairest criticism ever applied at this show when she asked aloud, why did Billy get choked there with as annoying as Mike was for the last hour of our show? And she's totally right about that. It's inarguable that Mike Ryan should have been choked out John Cena style during the last hour.
You're trying to open the door back out?
No, I'm not.
No, don't do it,
No,
man.
I do
would
not want
say
it
that
open anymore.
If you're talking about John Cena
No,
and a
thank
chokeout,
you. Thank you for all of your work.
You reference the STFU.
Okay.
Which is like an STF, only he adds the U at the end to make it seem like he's saying FU.
Okay, thank you for all
Now,
of that.
his original
No,
finisher
Mike,
was the FU,
Mike,
but then they
please,
changed it to
Mike,
the attitude
Mike,
adjustment.
Come on, Mike. Mike, please stop.
Why? Because like TV PG or something.
Right, but now
Billy,
they're on Netflix.
Mark,
I'm just curiosity
He's a
killed
heel,
the cat.
so
you
he
know?
can bring
The
back
dog.
the FU.
listen to me, Billy.
cat.
Let's play the FIU montage. Give me some sweetener here. Billy, over the weekend, evidently did some more calling of FIU baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just get to as
Vice
much
night.
of that sound as we can, please.
You know what they say, Corey? Numbers sometimes lie.
Sometimes lie. I always go, numbers never lie except when they do.
Yeah. Okay. Write that down. I had to look up to see which was his first name and his last name, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's one of those situations.
2 last names, always a crowd pleaser. But
Yeah.
either way, you work a Brooks in there. It's got my stamp of approval at least.
Really?
Corey Brooks, Billy Gil with you here on ESPN Plus. That is in tight to Craig.
Forgot your last name was Brooks. I was going to ask you if you're going to name a child Brooks at some point, but Brooks would be
Brooks
a weird
Brooks
name.
is a bit redundant.
Yeah.
FIU taking on the Hurricanes at Lone Depot Park.
It's a big one, Corey. That's all I got on that. More to come Tuesday.
More to come.
Yeah.
And Rick Ross was doing his parts.
Wow. The boss.
Which, upon further review, he has a lot of songs where he's not a huge part of the vocals.
Huh. What's that supposed to mean?
He's a great collaborator.
Okay. Well.
Disagree?
I'm not saying that he's not a great collaborator. I don't know if I would just describe him as a collaborator. Hopefully Rick Ross is not listening tonight.
I kind of hope he is. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be, but I don't know if the boss is someone that you want to be messing with.
I think you're bolstering my point here.
Well, here's the thing.
Go
'cause
on.
I think you can argue DJ Khaled is a collaborator,
Oh,
right?
I would absolutely argue
even
that.
DJ Khaled's song, DJ Khaled just gives like the beats, right? He doesn't add anything.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I didn't. I take that back. I
Now
didn't
who's
mean
the
that.
one who's out here slinging mud?
I didn't mean that.
Right into the glove of Castellano for the first out. Here's Fred.
Sorry, Khaled. if you're
That's
out
worse
there
than what I
listening.
said.
Yeah, if you're listening, Khaled, I'm sorry. Any games with Solana yet?
Quite a few.
Yeah? How's that been?
Great.
Who do you like more, me or him?
Very different broadcasters.
Oh.
Very different.
In what sense?
Solana, obviously having his role with the Miami Heat and preheat, wants to bring a very
Zaslow's job, some are
analytical
saying.
approach to the game.
Yeah.
Whereas you and I
Yeah.
are, well, the first word in ESPN is entertainment, and that's a little more the bent that you bring to the table.
Wow. Okay. Well, I promise you that for the next game, I'm bringing you nothing but analytics.
I look
So-
forward to that.
You will not. My urologist is not a fan
No?
of my high-protein diet. They've said less burgers, less steak, please.
That's tough.
Yeah. But you want to beat the Stones. That's what you got to do. Kidney stones.
The
that
Rolling
is.
Stones come for us all. Oh.
Yeah. Rolling Stone catches no moss, Corey.
Ah.
I don't know if you knew that.
That's why you're quicker than me.
Billy?
There's a lot of context missing in a lot of those clips, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Billy?
We also got into a whole Adam and Eve situation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It didn't make the cut.
Billy?
Yeah.
As a broadcaster, you are brave.
Thank
There
you.
is no one occupying the lane of purposely awkward and perfect pacing for baseball, where you're even slower than the game on how you're doing a podcast during the play-by-play.
Listen, respectfully, and he's a Hall of Famer, baseball moved way too fast for Dave Van Horn. That guy was slow, okay? That has nothing to do with this, and I don't know why I'm taking shots at Dave Van Horn, DVH, here at the end, but...
Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer. I said that on the front end, Hall of Famer, but yeah.
Like Greg.
Thank you.
A couple notes. I probably would have put a bed underneath that montage to keep it moving because I could understand how the audience is like, why would I listen to this? But if you like that, good news. Tomorrow, University of Miami, FIU football. Or baseball, sorry. University. I got distracted.
Kind of
because
early for that, isn't
we're
it?
watching here on First Take. First Take is talking about The Rock and John Cena again. And
Oh, don't do
Oh,
this.
no.
Don't do
Mike
this.
is
Slow
showing-
day in sports.
No,
huh?
no.
So,
There's-
anyways, tomorrow, if you guys are saying, hey, I want to listen to some FIU and some UM baseball, you can go check it out at Marlins Park, and you can listen. I'll be on the broadcast again. So
I'll be there.
I think we're going to be. Will you be there?
Yeah, I got season tickets.
Are you going to be?
FIU.
Okay.
All right.
Pause up.
That's- okay.
If you're
Yeah.
covering it, Greg,
That's
feel free to
insane.
drop by the booth. I'd be
Greg,
happy to
that's
bring
right.
you into the
Thank you.
booth
Okay,
for,
you know
for
what?
a couple
Hold-
innings
hold
or
on a
whatever it is.
second. Hold
It's
on.
going to be on YouTube. People can interact with us this time.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for lying.
Lying.
Yeah, get out of here.
I'll show you
Greg.
my tickets.
I think I saw
Undisciplined
him.
show
I
today.
think I saw him on Friday.
Thank you. I'm there.
You're not.
I'm
a
there
season,
every game.
You're not a season ticket
Yes,
holder.
He
I
might
am.
be.
That's not true. Get
Pause
out
up.
of here.
See, he knows. How would he know that unless he was one?
I like the role that you're occupying there, Billy, as awkward announcer.
I'm not trying to do that. People keep telling me they like these roles, that you're here and you're not this guy that's bringing analytics, and you're saying awkward. I'm just trying to go in and punch the clock, call the game.
Why
as
is
I
it
see
very
and then
different from
leave.
Solana, who has Tony's endorsement in being better than you at this? Why is it so different? Why are they saying it's such a different broadcast when Solana comes there with his sports coat and his tie and tries to give a real sportscast, and you're in there talking about gibberish?
Well, okay, for gibberish is very offensive.
There was
And
context missing in what was played.
Thank you. There was context.
I was
missing in a
watching.
lot
There
of
was
those
context
things.
missing about
Thank
the
you, because
urologist and
a lot.
stuff.
Exactly right. They were talking about how the players are now eating more burgers and steak because they have a high protein diet. And I said my urologist was mad at me for having a high protein diet.
what does that guy know
Just
anyway?
kind of throwing it out there because some people may be listening to the broadcast for medical advice for whatever reason, and I want to have them know that yes, a high protein diet is great, but sometimes it's not the best thing for you. Given each person, each body's a temple, Dan, but each temple
is right.
is different. And some temples need certain things to run, and some temples need other things to run. And if you put the wrong things in your temple, then your temple might shut down, and you don't want your temple to shut down. So I'm just kind of putting that out there. And these people, everybody's trying to turn me and Solana against each other. I'm not trying to feud with anyone. I'm not trying to do anything. No one said one was better than the other, just that they were different. And that's fine. That's fine. But if I need to go out there and I need to be talking about launch angles and I need to be talking
That's
about
what
spin rate
Solana's
and this
doing
and
that in a sports coat. He's doing it as if he's broadcasting for a future job with a tie, and you're out there being lax with your Marlins cap and your Dolphins shirt.
No,
No,
that's
lax is a
not,
different
no,
sport.
Lax is a different
That's
sport.
what
Thank
Stugotz
you.
is doing?
Cody does those sports too. So that's not what I was doing. I go there dressed in a polo shirt. I go there wearing pants. Like that's
Mike,
how
why
I
do you
go.
keep pointing at the television?
Also, I called Corey Cody.
I
for
saw
some
that.
reason.
I saw that.
Dude, I need a vacation.
First Take, I saw has on First Take. I saw Orlovsky's back after that emotional goodbye to the network 2 weeks ago, and I saw that Ocho Cinco's on there. Is that the first time he's on there? Finally, Shannon Sharp has gotten him on there too.
Some love for Club Shay Shay. Yeah, they were just talking about John Cena's heel turn, and they were showing very graphic images of Cody Rhodes laying in a pool of his own blood. Not since the Bay of Pigs have I seen a Massachusetts man leave a Cuban man hung out to die.
He's right about that.
Cody is in the other room again. Cody, what thoughts do you have from the other room, from the penalty box?
Cody is here?
No, I want to talk to Greg Cote. Billy, Mark needs a vacation, and I've got a couple of other things that I need to go to. But Greg, what do you have from the other room? I'm being told that you have something.
Greg Cote Rhodes. No, I don't. I'm still mesmerized by Billy's performance on the air. It's unlike any other I've heard when he's broadcasting FIU baseball. I think what you need, though, you need to pipe in a little fake crowd noise because it's very,
It
very
needed
quiet.
something. It
Yeah.
needed some production. It needed some help.
That's fine. We'll take note. I mean, during the game, you hear the sounds, you hear the birds, you hear the ambiance, you hear everything going on.
I like that you're slowing it down. That you're slow. Hey, world, slow down. Billy Gil's broadcasting, and not every silence has to be filled with someone's yammering, someone's gas bag.
Well, this also, you should know, is on ESPN Plus, so it's video. So it's different. And when we would do, the Marlins spring training games, which, by the way, if full disclosure, doesn't seem like it's going to happen again because Kyle got a promotion and now he's the TV guy. And then guess what happens? Yeah, I love Kyle too, except Kyle got what he needed out of us, and now he's moved on to television. Not even a call, not a text, nothing
That's
from
how it
Kyle.
happens.
So yeah,
We're gonna
Kyle
talk about Chris Cody's wife like that.
just threw us to the curb. We haven't heard from Kyle Seeloff, so love Kyle, but screw you
Yeah,
because
to
he's
hell with
never.
Kyle.
Thank you, Greg. He
Yeah.
gets it. Greg's a journalist. He's never going to invite us on again, which is perfectly fine.
Right.
So That
to
is
the
now,
hell with Kyle.
Did I say that?
He's right about that.
You're in a
That's your
group chat with
daughter-in-law.
him.
I left him
I
out
am
to
in a
dry.
group chat with him. Yeah. Well, no,
You
Kyle
never
left
brought
me
this
out
up,
to
and
dry.
That's what I'm saying. He left you out to dry.
Exactly right.
You've had every opportunity to bring this up in the group chat that you're in with him, and you haven't.
They can't. Well, because I wouldn't do that to him publicly. So they cancel our last spring training game because of rain, which we could have played through, right? But canceled and said, okay, well, we'll reschedule this. And never
It was
got
like a torrential statewide downpour that day.
Okay, well, no. Anyways, so we didn't end up doing a regular season game, which we were told maybe we'd do a regular season game. That didn't happen, and now I can catch a hint.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
a
gonna
broken
be invited
pump. No,
back.
wait a minute.
I'm not going to be
wait a
invited.
minute.
We
This
didn't
is-
do spring training this year because now he's a big TV man about town, and he's not going to invite us on the television network. I understand that, and I don't have the relationship with the radio guys. So FIU says, you know what? FIU put me on TV, ESPN Plus. And that's why, this is all a long answer just to say, that's why it's a different pace than when me and Chris would do radio calls. Because television, you have the visual there, so you don't have to paint every picture. The pictures are there painted, so you're just adding a little accents here and there. You know what I mean?
I like that Mike Ryan said of how you use the F and the U, that you can tell Kyle right now, hey, FIU. You can tell him what you have said on this show that your friendships can be bought, and this one sounds like it's over because Kyle in the group chat has moved on to television and left you in the rearview mirror in a way that has a broken promise as the punctuation to your relationship.
No, it's not. As far as I'm concerned, our friendship is still as exactly as it was, which I don't actually know the nature of our friendship to begin with. But as far as I'm
How
concerned,
long would we have to pay you to never speak to him ever again?
to Kyle,
$1.50.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to speak to me
where'd
ever
that
again.
come from?
I don't think it's for me to say. I think that Kyle Seeloff has
He's made that choice for you.
exactly right. It's
That was
it's
a
not.
straight $1.50 from another room. Kyle's friendship to you is worth $1.50 as assessed by Greg Cote from the other room with a surgical strike. You are no longer friends with Kyle.
No, I like Kyle. He has a cat.
Okay, that doesn't make you friends or doesn't mean you like him. Him
Yeah.
having a cat is
He
just...
saw the Northern Lights once on vacation.
All right. Extraneous information. Don't need the
I'm just
story.
It's missing
either.
context is what it is.
Well, those clips were missing context. People are thinking I'm just a crazy person rambling about things that have no meaning. Those were all connected to certain things that we were talking about. But lacking that context, you don't know. Now Mike's calling
Is
Kyle.
the CVS bag because you have another kidney stone?
What's that?
We never revealed what was in the CVS bag that Tony
No,
said had
it's.
Pepto-Bismol
Can I
in
tell
it.
you?
I
what
didn't say
it is?
Pepto-Bismol. I said something that could maybe keep
Or
things
perhaps
out.
Imodium.
No, I was trying to
take
be
things out.
considerate of my coworkers because this morning on the car ride in, I had a cough that I haven't had that was somewhat uncontrollable, and I said I don't want to be coughing in the workplace, getting people potentially sick. So I went to the CVS. I was talking to my wife. I was like, I think I'm going to need to stop and get something because I have this cough that's coming on. And she said, okay, but make sure that you buy the name brand because I know you. You usually go
yeah.
and buy the. You usually go and you buy the generic one. Just like, don't do that. Buy the name brand. Buy like a Mucinex, and then you'll actually get better. Don't buy the like off-brand medicine. And I bought the off-brand medicine because it's $5 cheaper. I'm not a sucker.
It's the
Why
same
not-
thing.
Exactly right. Why am I going to go and buy
don't call me
Robitussin when I
gente.
can just buy Waltussin or Tussin? Like, I'm not going to pay $5 extra because I want a Nike swoosh on my medicine. Get out of here. It's the same exact thing.
Put it on the poll, please. I'm no health expert, but people seem sicker. Yes or no? At Le Batard Show. I think sicknesses are lasting a little longer. I think everybody's got a little bit more of a cold than they used to have. It seems like we're walking around, all of us, just a little bit sicker. But Billy's here on behalf of Brand Products to tell you, here's $5 that you can save on if you're sicker. This might make you feel better. The savings, not necessarily the medicine.
It's exactly the same. If I'm going to be sick, I'd rather be sick with $5 in my pocket than giving you an extra $5 just because. Here was where my conflict was this morning, and I don't know why we're talking about this. Here's where my conflict was this morning.
This would be entirely your fault.
This says maximum strength, and I don't feel like I need, like, I could get average strength. If average strength was something that they sold on medicine, I could just do, I didn't
Make it
realize
cheaper?
until, no, I didn't notice right now that it said maximum strength. I was trying to avoid that because I was like, I feel a little under the weather, but not maximum under the weather, so I don't want to over medicate.
Can you
But
take half of a dose?
no, because they're liquid gels. Liquid gels ruin that. Before, you could just cut a pill in half. You say, you know
But you
what?
want
I
someone-
only have a little bit of fever. I'm going to cut this Tylenol 3/4 and I'll be good. Toss an aspirin there, take it down with a gin, and I'm good to go, right? Now with liquid gels, you try to cut a liquid gel in half, and you make a mess
like a
everywhere.
gusher.
You can't, exactly right. You can't do that. Liquid gels. And liquid gels, they mark up the prices on. You get the exact same medication if it's just like in a pill tablet form for like $3 less for the exact same medication. This is just like because it looks cutesy wootsy and you can see through it. What the hell do I care if I
Is
can
it
see through it?
faster
or not?
acting if it's liquid?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just it looks cooler. So they're like, let me sell you
That's
on
a
the cool looking
ginormous
thing.
pill.
Oh, I could swallow this thing like nothing.
There
I
you
could
go.
take horse pills if I had to. I'll tell you what right now.
Billy, you're not going to show up to the house with that medicine, though, right? Because your wife already told you buy the name brand one and you bought the off-brand one.
She did tell me don't get the. She said get the name brand one.
This is why
Mucinex.
she's not your friend.
Well, here's the thing about it too, though,
Can't
right?
show up with that.
I have it at home, and you won't believe this, but every day I'm prepared for these scenarios, and every day I have medicine on me just in case I'm not feeling well, except today. So I have Mucinex at home. I have Mucinex DM at home. I have all of the Mucinexes at home, the maximum, the minimum, the average strengths, all of those. I have them at home.
I've got good news for you.
Yeah.
Liquid gels do work quicker.
Do they?
Yeah.
I'm feeling
That's
better.
a scam.
I'm with Tony. It's fine. It's
Traditional
like
tablets
a
or
placebo
capsules
thing.
need to break down before the body can absorb the medication,
That's why I
which
sometimes
will
go
take longer.
and I smash them up, and then I put them in a piece of ham, and then I eat it like a dog.
Yeah.
That's why liquid
And then
gels.
fast acting.
That's why liquid gels are now
With
like
a pizza hamon.
the most popular choice.
Yeah, listen, it's all the same.
Well, this is what I was going to say. You're alleging, just to be clear, to recap, that savings are actually samings, that you would prefer $5 off for average strength, that you would make the trade of don't give me maximum strength, save me $5, give me average strength, I'll take the savings, it's all the savings.
Well, no, yes and no. So my argument was I didn't realize this was maximum strength when I got it. I was trying to avoid the maximum strength because I didn't feel maximum sick. Now, if something is generic or name brand and the generic is $5 cheaper, I'm always going to go with the generic because I'm going to be sick regardless, so I'd rather be sick with $5 than feel sick without the $5. That's what. Now, if they had average strength and it was $2 off, I would do that and I would risk it and I'd see, hey, guess what? I feel just the same. It's a whole thing. But the reason, again, that I got this instead of the name brand is because I have the name brand at home. I don't need to keep buying the same name brand. I assume these go bad. You know what happened the other day? You're not going to believe this, Dan. You know what happened to me the other day? I had to throw away an entire 32-ounce Heinz ketchup. You know why? Because I went to BJ's and I said, I'm going to buy a 3-pack of 32-ounce Heinz ketchups. And I did this like 2 years ago. And I didn't realize that my ketchup consumption as I'm getting older is really slowing down. I'm not using ketchup like I used to. I thought, there's no doubt in my mind
Why
I'm going to
not?
burn. I don't know. I guess I'm maturing. I just thought, before I'd put ketchup on anything, I thought ketchup was nature's nectar. I loved ketchup. I would eat it with anything. Put some plain Lay's potato chips. They could use some ketchup. Heinz 57. I love it. So I had to throw away a bottle and a half of Heinz ketchup because it expired. I had no idea they even expired. And I was pushing it as far as I could go. That sucker expired on January 5th, 2025. And I said, it's March 5th. We're still okay.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Have you matured if you've exchanged ketchup for ham and medicine? Ham and medicine sandwiches at Le Batard Show. There are a number of things that I want to get to that I regret asking Mark about it all. The fact that you guys have said that Greg is not a Hall of Famer. Jessica, you feel like you've been loudest of all questioning whether or not Greg Cote is a Hall of Famer.
I think I was the quietest about that. I think Mike was the loudest because he's always the loudest.
He was first and he was loudest, yes. But I believe the disdain on your face for judging him a Hall of Famer, you're the one to mention it most recently that he's not a Hall of Famer.
No, I said he was. I said Hall of Famer like Greg.
And I was the loudest.
Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote. It's getting more and more popular with the legend and Hall of Famer Greg Cote. What do you have to promote on this front?
Well, this is our big 5th anniversary show. Our first show ever was March 2nd, 2020. We're 5 years old. We're celebrating by revealing the top 100 countdown of all-time greatest guests. And it's been fun. It's been controversial. People are eating it up. We're doing good traffic, unusually good traffic. And so, you know.
Billy, why are you laughing at that? There's a big fight around here because everyone thinks they're ranked too low. There are big fights in-house about who should be ranked higher. And Greg.
Oh, no, I don't care.
Well, you might not care, but it's not everyone else. Izzy was thrilled with his ranking. Jeremy was furious with his. You're allowed not to care, and other people are allowed to have feelings that are not just yours.
I learned I was on the show through this countdown.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't remember you were on the show either.
Great. It's great that you're above it.
Why'd you give me a 3 then, huh?
Okay. It's great that you're above it. You got a 3?
You got the breakdown of what you got?
I got a 3.
Whoa,
Come, Greg.
Mike didn't want
got a 3. He may want to pretend that he doesn't remember me on the show, but he gave me a 3.
Okay.
You were not supposed to reveal that.
Could have been a 1.
But wait a minute. A 1 is the worst. A 3 is average strength, and 5 is maximum strength.
Yeah.
Mike got a 3. If he got a 3 from you, that means he's not going to be in the top 10, right?
That's a fair comment.
Yeah, but it was easy to deduce that I at least got a 3, given where I was ranked.
Yeah.
Claire was on the show. What number did you give her?
Princess Claire, I don't recall that she made the top 100.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
Dad,
Dad made it.
Wow.
But Princess Claire, I don't believe.
Dan thought you had a son, and now
You know what?
Greg's leaving you out of the top 100.
I forgot
be
you
wrong.
thought you had a son.
I could be wrong. Princess Claire may have made the top 100.
Is Dan on the top 100?
Not to give anything away, but Dan sort of had a disappointing. In fact, Dan, used an expletive when we called him to congratulate him on where he had ranked. He used an expletive because he happened to have ranked one spot below Gary the Bag Rosenfeld, which I can say. But Gary is like a Greg Cote Show Hall of Famer once we institute the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you can't say that. We have established.
Wow.
You can't call someone a Hall
You're
of
right.
Famer if
Right.
there isn't.
Yeah, but the PFPI Hall of Fame is going to happen. Greg's Lobos do have a great shot, in my opinion, to be a first ballot Hall of Famer there. So we'll see. I can't control fate.
Did you announce all 100 of your guests?
Yes.
Because last time we spoke, you said you weren't sure how you were going to do it.
No, we did. We went from 100 to number 1.
Wow.
We did have an omission that I'm embarrassed about that I can't even reveal at this
No,
point.
you have to
Oh,
now.
no.
We're already there. You got to give the people something. If we're going to promote your thing this much, give us the embarrassing omission. Come on.
Should I do it?
The list is flawed.
I don't
That's
think you
okay.
should.
Tell us what it rhymes with.
Yeah.
Just come on, Greg. Come on.
Uncle Schmick.
Okay.
No.
Everybody's going to play defense
Uncle
against me
Schmick.
being able to do this.
Uncle
correctly
Schmick didn't
today.
make it, Dan.
Everyone's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, ask him also, Dan. I don't know if you remember
Poor
this,
Uncle
but he
Mick.
teased it. He
Okay.
teased it last time.
No, let's actively play defense against the good things. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
The Heat should have tried playing defense last night.
That's a good point.
Or down 20.
19-point
20.
lead.
Oof.
Blow it. That team blows some leads, doesn't it?
If they protected all of their double-digit leads, they'd be second in the conference in like 25 games over 500. They can't score late.
Who do
they
we blame for
cannot
this?
score late.
Who do we blame?
They don't have enough offense.
Well, who do we blame for that?
There is no one to blame except the architect that makes it, because we know that Spoelstra is not the problem, and we know that the architecture is the problem. The team is not good enough.
How does it feel knowing Taylor was at the Knicks Heat game last night in Miami chanting MVP at Jalen Brunson?
Wow.
That's what happened last night. The New York Knicks came into town and won for the 8th time in 10 games against the Miami Heat and have surpassed the Miami Heat
You could
in
hear it on the broadcast.
all of the places that matter.
Yes, Brunson going to his weakness, his right hand, but he was too physical. So that's why Brunson's at the line for 2.
Have you ever heard a Knick crowd louder than this in Miami? We know they love to pack this place, but they are boisterous tonight.
Fun. The announcer voice. We know the Knicks love the boy. It's just
It's a Heat broadcast
I
you
thi-
just did.
It was funny. What?
That was your Heat broadcaster
Yeah,
voice.
Right. Yeah, my generic broadcaster.
I think
voice.
that's Lee's college roommate doing the play-by-play for the Knicks. Yeah.
Lee's college roommate was Eric Reed.
Have you ever heard a Knick crowd louder than this in Miami. We know they love to pack this place, but they are boisterous tonight.
They are boisterous tonight. Fun. I'd love to do a whole game in my worst possible announcer's voice. You should try that, Billy.
I think you'd run out of breath.
Come by tomorrow, Greg.
Yeah.
I think you'd run out of breath if we did it just for the last 10 minutes of this show. Do you want to try it? Do you want to try to just talk in your pukey broadcaster voice the rest of the way?
If I had anything left to say, I would.
All right, let's do it. You be my co-host as just pukey broadcaster, man. I have an assortment of things to go to. The first thing I need to go to is I need the listeners of this show who like to be around some good parties that we throw around here in Miami to save the date for what it is that I'm putting up on the screen here. We're going to have a couple of weeks of build-up into what it is that this is, but can you guys tell me what you think this is? I don't know who around here knows what because precious little has been set up about this event, but we're going to have a party that's going to reveal itself in parts over the next week. We will give you more information, but we're asking you to save April 13th as the date if you want. You guys said earlier in the show that I use my father and have done it too much for too many years and may do it again tonight when it comes to banging the drums slowly at the Panther game. But my father is coming out of retirement and he is going to be a part of something that remains a mystery till now. But do you know what you're asking to be saving the date on April 13th? Do you or anyone else?
Isn't that the date of the NFL draft?
Is it?
It is not.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
Okay.
I think it's the 24th.
Okay.
So
well, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay. You just stay in that voice. Okay. Just save the date. That's all we're going to tell you. We'll break that out in pieces.
SOD.
The other thing I wanted to get to is the funny thing that just happened in the back of the room. I wish Chris Cote were here because he would be able to explain to me how annoying this is that his father does this. Greg Cote uses his phone, he uses the voice activation to send his texts. And what he just sent as a text, as I'm having trouble finding anyone who might want to go for tonight's great honor at the Panther game, what he just said into his phone to somebody is, "No suite tonight, period." That's the text he just voiced into his phone, and I think that's Greg Cote canceling on being a part of what it is we're doing tonight because he just learned that there will not be a suite involved in what we're doing tonight. Who did you just send that voice text to?
I sent it to Christopher. I was sold a bill of goods. You came too cheap. You got to negotiate a better deal with the Florida Panthers.
You see how you can't do it for a whole game?
I'm doing it right now.
No, you've fallen apart on broadcaster voice.
No, I'm doing it right now.
You couldn't do it for 2.5 minutes.
So where are you sitting?
I don't know.
Oh, I have a pretty good idea of where they're going to put you. How many people are in your crew?
It is going to be 4 of us. We've got 4 tickets, but I was asking who wanted them, and it didn't seem like anybody wanted them.
I have a pretty good idea of where they're going to put you, and that is... You may see Marino.
Wow.
And you are where the VIPs go.
Wow.
I don't think that's what people...
How much are the tickets, Dan?
I once saw Shane McMahon there.
Roy, you saw what happened in the eating area moments ago.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened? Explain to the audience what just happened as Billy howled with laughter and then walked away from everything that was happening.
Well, you're going to sit in a different area, but the Panthers have gifted us 4 tickets.
Oh, wow. Big
Those
spenders.
tickets are not going to be near where you're going to be sitting.
Where you're going to be sitting, get the smoked old fashioned. It's legendary.
I wanted to give tickets to a group of people who wanted them. Nobody seemed to want them.
That's not exactly what happened.
No.
This is
4
the first
tickets.
that I'm learning.
No,
that
well,
there's tickets.
you're lucky because what we got was, do you want to come watch me bang the drum? Because I have the opportunity for you to pay $37 to go watch me bang the drum. And we're like, I don't know about that.
No,
Who did he extend this invite to?
Anyone that was willing to pay $37, I think, at the point in time.
$37.
Yeah, it was like I could choose 2 of you, and the rest of you can come. Just don't sit with the emperor.
Plus parking, though.
And then
You have to drive to
$37
Sunrise
exactly.
and pay $37.
I have to rent a Lexus so I get free parking, and even
Oh, you
that
can come with
doesn't
me.
They don't do that anymore.
Exactly
You can
right.
come with
That's
me,
ridiculous.
Billy. I have a Lexus.
Those
And then you have to
$37,
They don't
that's
do
about-
that anymore.
They don't do it anymore?
And then I
third of
have
the
to
price.
start figuring out, like, morally, am I okay? Like, I know there's signs, but morally, am I okay parking at Sawgrass and walking
Because
across
you're a
the street, or is
journalist.
It's
that
far,
like
too. It's a
Thank
far
you.
Tailgate at the
Jess gets
Rainforest
it.
Cafe.
Exactly right.
Pull up some zebra legs.
I've always thought that, right? Because it says, like, this parking is reserved for customers only, right? And, like, they have that at the Hard Rock, too. So if I were to go into Walmart and buy a Snickers bar and then put my receipt on the console of my car, I could not get towed because I was a customer of Walmart. Now, granted, I have spent 4 hours at a football game as a result, and I had free parking. But I was a customer of Walmart. You see my receipt right here. I bought a Snickers bar, correct? How would that hold up in court?
Well, I think they have people out there spotting to see who's crossing the street.
Yeah, but I was a customer.
It depends. If the judge is the guy from the Cal game who knows Dan,
Yeah, Dan's
maybe he'll
friends.
put in a favor for you.
Greg, can I have your
should
phone
invite
for a
him.
second?
Yeah, I'm turning it off
No,
right
no,
now.
can I have it for a second? I'd like to hear or see what it is the back and forth with your son was when you said no sweet tonight. Did he answer?
No, he didn't. That's what I was looking for. He's afraid of me, obviously, because he sold me a bill of goods. He told me the Le Batard Show is going to have its own suite, which, reads open bar, if I'm being honest. But you should have a... Dan Marino had a suite when he banged the drum.
Look, I am not responsible for any of the details on this. I haven't even decided if I'm doing it
I know, but
yet.
your team has to negotiate a better deal than
for
4 free tickets.
For where they're going to put you, do the drum just so you can hang out in this area.
He's not going to be able to eat any of it, Mike.
I heard, and
Sushi?
I don't know if this is allowed to go on air, Dan, so I may get pow-pow, but I saw a draft of what the intro for Dan is supposed to be.
Well,
do you want to hear the intro?
No, well, hold on. Yes, I do want to hear the intro, but the reason I want to hear the intro is because I have not agreed to anything. I am looking to make a mockery of this.
Oh, they've already made a mockery of it.
And so when they ask me how I want to be introduced, because it's Vamos Gatos night, how Hispanic do you want to be? My answer was I want to be introduced as being from the Gulf of America. That's
okay.
But
Why
that
do you always
doesn't
have to politicize
counterintuitive of being Hispanic.
You're not from. You were born in New Jersey.
I know, but I want to come across as publicly. I want to make a political stand if I'm going to sell my journalism. And so what I had sent to them is that I want to be introduced as from the Gulf of America, Dan Le Batard.
Did they
Shouldn't
like that?
it be Gulf of Mexico then? Wouldn't that be the stance?
No, I want to do it their way. I don't want to do Gulf of Mexico. I want to do it Gulf of America.
I would rescind the invitation immediately.
Well, I don't know what they.
I don't like what you're gonna go out of your way to inject politics into this.
Yes,
No.
that's correct because it's such a silly thing. That's correct.
No, don't.
It's pandering.
Now it's a silly thing. Okay,
it's pandering.
Now it's not a
Raheem
great
Mostert
honor that
didn't
they.
think it was a silly thing.
Thank you.
It's a great honor that they reserve for all-time greats, like the greatest ever, to do their things. But okay.
Yep.
But it's silly.
Everybody else had a suite except Le Batard.
He's in a suite. He's in the creme de la creme suite.
Yeah,
Just everybody else is in.
We have to pay $37 to see him. He's in the suite.
What
All
is
right.
that?
So here is I don't know. That was your invitation.
That's quite the discount, by the way. For
I mean, if we're
absolutely.
gonna be fair, Dan, like you would invite everyone to pay to come to your birthday party every year. So this is just, I'm starting to notice a pattern here. You know what I mean?
Wait,
so here's
actually?
what. Well, yeah, Moss.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
So
right.
here's what I learned. This is what the description was. Cuban-born, Miami native, radio podcast and TV host, Dan Le Batard.
Now, Cuban-born.
What do they mean by that?
Yeah, what do they mean by
what-
that?
what's-
Jersey City? Is that in Cuba?
I wasn't born in Cuba. Like, why
Well,
would they
this
put
is what-
Cuban?
this
But
is
you
born?
are Cuban-born in that you're 100% Cuban, right?
I'm Cuban American.
So you're Cuban-American born.
That's right. But that's not
Just
how
like
you say
Cody
that.
Rhodes.
That is
The
not
Cuban
how-
American dream.
Was he busy tonight or?
Yeah, he's on. He had to have been asked first.
It has to be a long list of people that were asked first, I would assume.
You think they asked Mark Cuban?
That would be a great way.
That would
He
be
would be
great.
Cuban-born. He would be more Cuban-born than I would be. Whose writing was that, and how is it that you could look at me in a straight face and say that you think I'm trying to charge you $37 to come to this game?
I'm just saying, when Kristen came around and said, if you guys want to go, anyone's welcome to come. And we said, okay, great. And she said $37.
But
And then
that's how
plus
that's how
plus
the
convenience fees, which is like, poof.
Yeah.
But
ridiculous.
that's what the Panthers are doing, and does that
Well.
mean those are good seats or bad seats?
I can't imagine they're great.
Well, I know that they're upper deck.
They have
400 level. buddy.
Binoculars to see you in a suite?
But what
For
is that?
$37?
But that's not my choosing on that. That's how the Panthers do this.
No, they don't. No, normally when you bang a drum, they give you a suite.
Thank
You didn't
you.
negotiate the right deal.
He's going.
Michael
got
Marino was
taken.
not in the upper deck seeing his dad downstairs
You
with
got
Footy. You know
had.
what I mean? Mike and Footy were downstairs in the suite.
I don't want to do any of this. Like, I simply don't want to do it. How has it become something that charges people who work here $37
plus fees?
They're basically taking they're making me drive all the way up there to charge our employees $150 to not be able to eat with me.
They're giving you 4 free tickets.
You did get
to
4.
The creme de la
They're
creme.
not free.
Yeah,
Yours are.
Yours are.
Yeah, yours are.
Yours are. And in this place, top shelf. All
But
taken
no,
care of.
those are the tickets that I was trying to give away.
No, but no, you can't just. They're not going to let Mike Malley go into the where you're going.
Malley's not going to.
Malley, you're going to have like Ethan Badowski show up with you and think that he can have some of this sushi.
I
boat?
have 2 tickets. It's me and my wife and 2 tickets.
Yeah, so 4 tickets in all.
Ethan might actually be the only person who would go.
Those are the 2 tickets I was trying to give away, not charging you $37 for more tickets.
But where are the seats?
This is a new and an improved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
We didn't talk at all about the fight this weekend. We have to do that. And we also have to, before Juju comes in here, Billy, what's going on with March Sadness? It is the start of March. I am a little afraid about how little we have talked about what we're doing for March Sadness. What can you tell the people about what we're doing? Because I don't know anything about what you've been planning or why it is you need a vacation.
Well, so March Sadness is fast approaching. We're like 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday, and we said, you know what? Last year, we're going to be honest, people didn't like what we did for March Sadness, which is fine. That's fine. So we wanted to kind of reach out and give back to the fans and encourage some fan interacting. We have the Boost mobile line that we've been doing, but that's, once a week. That's not enough. So we said, you know what would be a great prize? If we open this up and we had a prize where someone could watch the game with Dan. Wouldn't that be exciting, Dan? We can have a fan watch the game with you. No, not even. Not even $37. Not even. Free? Yeah, free. Just go to LeBatardAF.com, and we're going to have a situation where we're going to pick 64 fans this year. You're going to submit a video. You're going to get a prompt. The prompt is going to tell you what this video is supposed to be about. When you go to LeBatardAF, you'll see it right there. It's going to say March Sadness, fan versus fan tournament. And what we're going to do is unify our audience by pitting them against each other. So they're going to have videos. They're going to be asked a question. They're going to answer said question. And then fans are going to vote for the fan that they like, bracket style. They're going to keep moving on round by round. And the winner is going to get a very nice prize, including watching the game with one Dan Le Batard, which is very exciting. And I'm not telling you which Dan Le Batard, but one Dan Le Batard is going to watch the game with said fan. So act now, because here's the thing.
Stunt Dan. At the end, we're
Watch
going to
the game with Danny
It's going to be a bait and switch where all of a sudden hey, all we told you is that you got to watch the game with one Dan Le Batard, and it would be Stunt Dan, Danny Benitez.
And maybe more. Maybe more people will be involved in that situation. Who knows? Maybe there'll be like a, I can't give away too much information.
Johnny will be there too?
In honesty, I can't give you too much information because I found out there are so many legal hurdles that go into having contests, and the lawyers have really been holding this thing up.
Right. So basically what this is you can watch the game with me. We're encouraging the audience to be competitive about getting to spend a night with me.
Well, don't phrase it that way, because legally I don't know what's going on, and that's exactly right. Thank you, Greg. He gets it.
Whatever.
Here's the thing. Just go online, LeBatardAF.com. Look for the thing. Start submitting your videos why you should be one of these people. They'll give you the question, answer the question. There's only going to be 64. And if I've learned anything, it's probably going to be the first 64 that we get, because there's going to be a lot. So act now and submit, because if we start getting into like the 400s, good chance we're not going to see your video. So get in there very quickly to make sure that we watch your video, because if not,
get in there very well with quality content, because
or annoy Dan. Be really annoying, and maybe fans will vote for you, so Dan has to watch the game with you because you're really annoying.
Yeah, let's do
whatever
that
it is that you want to do.
That's a good strategy.
But also try to be one of the first 64, because if it's after 64, again, there's a good chance if we put Taylor in charge of this, we're not even going to see the video.
Okay, excellent work. Juju, it is nice to see you, and I want to get to a number of things with you, but the first thing that I want to get together with you on is the fight from the weekend, because a whole lot of people were yelling and screaming.
The Elimination Chamber, Juju. Seth Rollins, after elimination, decides to curb CM Punk, and then, kind of weird, maybe some tea leaves there for a sign of things to come. John Cena does not show any hesitance, straps in the STFU, chokes out CM Punk, punches his ticket to WrestleMania. You think you got babyface versus babyface after a warm embrace, after Cody Rhodes says, Rock, go F yourself, but he doesn't say F. He actually says the word, and then daggers for eyes. As soon as The Rock throws a little throat slice across his throat, kicking the nuts. So your reaction, Juju?
Tank Davis is what I was talking about.
crazy.
Tank Davis is what I was talking about.
Also, Travis Scott, you got to learn how to pull your punches a little bit. He punched Cody Rhodes so hard, like, geez, learn the game.
Burning Sage though in the corner is a great heel move. I like that for him. This is all setting up a potential triple threat in which Bad Bunny comes to the aid. Wow. Maybe a sort of pseudo-Latin coalition with Cody Rhodes.
Hell yeah, but with the other fight that happened as well, Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. Man, what a sham, bro. Lamont Roach got screwed over, man. Tank Davis was he took a knee mid-fight. Usually in every other situation and circumstance, that's counted as a knockdown. He got to take a knee and say, "Oh, yeah, my hairstylist has put too much grease in my hair."
Time out.
Come on.
Time out.
Right?
What are we doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? First of all, why would you blame sis? She at the house watching the fight, and she probably did. I wish you would. What's the meme from the Tim Robinson show? Like, what the hell? Like, you blaming me for this? Like, that was so bush league. I think Lamont got screwed on that one.
Doesn't everyone think that? Like, I've rarely seen consensus, even though we can have many subjective things in boxing. It's one of the sports most contaminated by accusations of fix because judging can be subjective. There didn't seem to be any argument on this one. It was just everyone in agreement. What's that? That's not boxing. That's different than any. That's not the way the rules work. You don't just protect this person.
It's weird too,
Right.
and that's why we look at stuff with the UFC, and it's like even there's a couple of things, an eye poke here, a nut shot there, where it's like, oh, wait a second, something was up. But in boxing, it feels like this happens very, very, very often.
Hell yeah, man. And like everything that Tank threw at Lamont, he had a counter for it the entire fight. Maybe the first couple of rounds, Lamont was filling them out, which Tank usually does. But around the 7 through 12, Lamont was clearly the better man in that fight. And I think it does a disservice to the game of boxing, the sport of boxing, when you let results like that come about.
Did the audience have any issue with Peter Rosenberg being our Oscars expert instead of David Sampson and Adnan Virk? They both wanted to be our Oscars experts, and for some reason, instead, we went Greg Cote and Peter Rosenberg.
Damn right.
Now the audience loved it, man. You know, I think the audience tuned in to David Sampson and Adnan's broadcast last night, which is still available online. Go check it out on YouTube if you missed the fellas. But yeah, I think Mike was definitely right, bro. Like Adrien Brody, build a bridge and get over your damn self. Like, sir, you don't tell the music man to stop. I've been here before, and then go on with 2 more minutes of boringness. Like, you, sir, are the Joker of the Oscars. Alongside, I think her name was Clement Ducot and Camille for singing the last 20 seconds of their Oscars acceptance speech. Like, salute, sis. Congratulations. But sis, come on. Let's get off the stage. I think a couple other good moments was when the fire chief had the Joker Part 2 joke. That made me, you know what I mean, pretty much laugh like hell. There's a lot of great moments for the Oscars. I think you gotta just stay patient with them, man.
I'm with you on Adrien Brody being the Joker of the week, Juju. It was annoying to me to see all of the other filmmakers get played off the stage, and then he was like, I'm actually the best actor, so I'm very important, and I can tell the band to stop. And then they did, and I was like, no!
Terrible. They should have gone louder.
That would have been
Right.
great.
Justice for the Dune 2 producer who got cut off by the music and respected it. Justice for him. You feel me? Salute.
I have not seen any of the reaction. I mentioned earlier in the show that Conan, as a comedic, like really a person that I've admired over 30 years, how he keeps reinventing himself. The reports before this appearance, where he's trying to make the Oscars matter again, he's 61 and he's had a really tough couple of months. In December, his parents, who were in their 90s, died 3 days apart in his childhood home in Massachusetts. Not long after the double funeral, just as he was settling back in Los Angeles Angeles to work on the Oscars. The fire started there, and his home was evacuated. When his wife called to ask what to save, his only thought was of a 1980 letter from the author and essayist E.B. White. O'Brien had written to him as a teenage fan, and he wrote me back a really sweet letter, O'Brien said. So I just said, grab that, and if the rest goes, it still goes. He's living in a hotel where he's put the letter on a wall. Did people receive Conan O'Brien well yesterday? Because what he's been for 30 years is just exceedingly likable.
Yeah, I think he was the bright spot of the show. Like Jessica said, when he was like, "We're not wasting time," while wasting time, and a lot of his transitions felt like just like the old Conan O'Brien show. Just great to watch. You feel me?
Yeah, I think everyone liked Conan.
Juju, what would you tell us about the verdict from the audience on whether or not journalistically I should be doing the Panthers drum tonight? Greg Cote, last thoughts on this, Greg, because I have not decided what to do. I do have 2 tickets. Greg is still arguing with his son. Greg is saying if he gets the 2 good tickets, he'll go. If he gets the 2 other tickets, he will not go.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're part of Dan's 4, you're getting good tickets.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
I thought those were the tickets we're giving away if I go, but your last thoughts on this are what?
I mean, if I'm getting a smoky old-fashioned and maybe knock back a couple of those, I'll go. I don't think you should do the drum banging, though. I think you'd say you will and then not do it and leave the Panthers hanging for not giving you a suite.
Enjoy all the spoils whilst being in the most exclusive suite that they have.
Right on.
And not actually do the thing that got you access to the suite.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's possible. If you show up late, they're not going to not start the game because you're late, but they're not going to take your tickets away.
It's another thing, Dan. You have to show up before the game. That's when this thing happens.
Yeah, don't
you can't show up late.
No Cuban time.
You do have kind of a tendency, yeah.
Traffic will make this very hard to arrive on time. You guys know this is a 2-hour trip.
What time did they tell
you? You're leaving now, right? You should be leaving right now. Yeah.
When did they say the game was?
This is an honor. This is an honor.
You should have left probably a half hour ago.
Not everything is fun in games.
You should send an impersonator.
This is a true honor.
Danny Benitez.
Right.
Yeah. Either that or an AI-generated hologram of Dan Le Batard
You
banging
really
a drum.
should send Danny Benitez today and see what the Panthers' reaction is because,
But with Valerie.
A lot, yes. Because a lot of these things, you're not going to see the person that actually invited you, right? Like, they hand this off to a handler. The handler hands that off to a handler. So, you're dealing with, third and fourth parties in a lot of these instances. If Danny Benitez showed up and he's like, "Hi, I'm Dan Le Batard. I'm here to bang the drum," they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, come in. Oh, yeah, it's 2 minutes from now. Come on, we're going to rush you through the bowels of the arena." And they put you on a golf cart. There's always golf carts down there. Put you in a golf cart, and they usher you away. And then, boom, Danny Benitez is, "Vamos, gatos." Boom, 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 boom. And then up at the suite with Greg.
I think any tomfoolery that you might pull off tonight might have my credentials stripped. So,
whoa. It's not about you, Roy.
It is about me. I'm coming to damn team.
This is not the spirit. Look, this is not the spirit. Juju, this is not the spirit of the thing. Do you see what is happening here? I would like to make a mockery of this honor. If I do, I'm going to cost us the relationship with the Panthers.
Dan, you are my brother, and I love you. If anybody ever touch a hair on your head, I'm at them instantly. But who the hell do you think you are, sir? Like, when the Stanley Cup champions ask you to bang the drum, you bang the damn drum with a smile on your face, sir. Like, this is an honor. You threw journalism out 2 miles ago, sir. They have revoked your journalism card, severance style. Newsflash, we done platform some jokers up here. You, sir, need to put a smile on your face. I don't give a damn if they give you 1 ticket. You go get that 1 ticket and smile because these are the champions, and they thinking of you in these moments. What in the heck am I hearing, sir?
Wow, that was a great speech. If it was a speech, what would you call what you just said?
Best
it was
dismissal.
A soliloquy. It was wonderful.
Well, but you come out on the
wrong,
argue with him. Okay, well, argue with him then. Don't give him. That's a great speech, but it goes contrary to everything I've said for 4 hours.
No, you negate yourself as a former journalist. Even retroactively, we strip you of all integrity if you bang the drum tonight. I've said that. I've made myself clear. But if you're going to agree to bang the drum, at least have him give you a damn suite so that you don't have to charge your friends to go watch you bang a drum. The whole thing takes about 10 seconds. 10 seconds. You know, Jack Nicklaus barely touched the skin of that drum. You got to really bang it. You know, you got to beat it like Michael Jackson.
What?
I think integrity was out the window around Richard Simmons' costume. Like, I feel like here we are, sir. We're in 2025.
That's a point.
Poll question updates, please. I don't know what
Wait,
I'm
what
gonna do.
costume are you wearing for
I
this?
don't know that I'm going to do it. Cuban-born is the costume I'm
Yeah,
wearing,
there you go.
evidently.
Oh, they got a jersey provided for you, so.
A
Jersey.
jersey?
Also, Juju Watkins, salute to Juju Watkins going crazy against UCLA this weekend, dropping a 30 ball on their heads. Neither here nor there.
No, it's here. UCLA looked bad, Juju.
It's here
Ugh.
and
Right?
there.
Right?
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Is a part 2 ever Oscar worthy? 52% of the audience says no, it is not. Dang. Is Thunderball sharks with lasers on their heads? 76% of the audience says yes, it is.
You guys were really disrespectful to the 007
Incredibly
franchise.
disrespectful. He sacrificed himself for his kid.
What?
The
We're
Dark
all
Knight.
fans of 007. We want it. We want to see it do well.
I'm done.
sound like
This
it.
is
It
like
has
the
done
second 007 tribute that they've done in the last 11 years. One was for the 50th anniversary, and the other one is, well, we've sold it to Prime.
Is it rude to speculate on another man's tummy? 78% of the audience says yes, it is very rude.
Jessica,
Sorry,
speaking
Billy.
the truths around here. Yes.
Rude boy.
Is your spouse lying if they say that you are their best friend?
This is amazing. I couldn't believe this.
61% of the audience says yes, they are lying. You're not the best friend.
It's always a great lie.
Yeah.
Never hurt anybody. Of course you're my best friend. Yeah. Of course.
Right. Would your dog eat you if you died? Sheesh. Too soon. Rest in peace to Angie Stone, by the way, as well.
Yeah,
Neither here.
rest in power.
59% of the audience says yes, their dog would eat them if they died. Dang it.
Should be higher than that.
It's so sad.
I'm no health expert, but people seem sicker. 86% of the audience says yes.
Almost like there's a pandemic. It's weird.
And those are the polls.